Hey, how's everyone doing? How are my savages? So today we are going to be discussing what is toxic in the manosphere right now, or what I see as toxic in the manosphere. Like during this year, during 2020, it's really been bothering me. Like it's been something that's been in my mind that keeps coming in and coming out. And the more and more that I keep watching content and I keep going from YouTuber to YouTuber and watching their content and see what's going on, I keep coming back to the same issue. And I don't know if it's just me, but let's let's see what's going on. Hey, what's going on, bud?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Um, not too much, not too much. So, I want to get your thoughts on something that's going on with the manosphere.
Go Browns. Are you a Browns fan?
No,
You got on their colors.
well, I have on a Carhartt vest, which is the Carhartt color is this, and I'm in construction, so I wear construction orange at work, and I was just working, so brown and orange just happens to be the Browns color. I'm a fan.
Great explanation.
I do live in Cleveland, but no, I'm not a Browns fan. So this is something that's been bothering me about a lot of the. Hey, what's up, D? So this is what bothered me about the manosphere. So like there's been a lot of YouTubers that I've been following through the years. Actually, when I first started this channel, there was a YouTuber that I was close with, and because of this issue, I ended up leaving their platform. And there's a couple other YouTubers that I was a follower, like I wasn't a follower, but I was watching Jessica X, and I ended up leaving X's platform. I was part of, obviously, Tommy Sotomayor, also part of Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. And the issue that I keep having is in the manosphere, we've come into this situation where there is a lot of fuck white people in it.
Um, yeah. Well, I guess I would say yes. I encounter a lot of that. It's part of the battle that I fight every single day almost. I seem to keep bumping into pro-black people when I want to just bump into people.
Well, listen, I don't even have an issue with you if someone's pro black. Like if you want to be pro your people, like I totally get that. I totally get that. But the issue of it is we have so many creators that are in this niche that are about male improvement, but they're black and their audience is black. So there's a heavy amount of like fuck white people and don't trust Becky's daughter and you can't trust white men. Like there's all this anti-white sentiment that's supposed to be a man space to where like if you're white, you really can't even really be in the you can't be involved in that space. Like I was on Jessica X's platform and they were doing a topic and like everyone on the panel was talking shit about white people and I'm backstage and I'm literally backstage for 4 hours or 3 hours or 2 hours or however long it was. And at the end of the day, each person she's letting up on the panel is just talking shit about white people and white men specifically. And I got left behind in the back of the stage because I was white. Or like when all this shit happened with when all these black folks get shot by the police or killed by the police and I'm on a platform, I'm automatically getting attacked because I'm literally outnumbered like 100 to 1, and like I can't even have an opinion. So like the issue that I'm saying is like, do you think that it's gonna do you feel it's gonna become a point where it's just the black manosphere. Like there really isn't a manosphere.
No, I won't say that. Again, I say the like even the name Jessica X lets me know that this is a pro-black person who's going to spew anti-white sentiment, especially if there's a hot button topic going on and she knows her audience is black and that's what they want to hear.
Well, that's the thing. It's not her specifically. So she's mixed.
I was just giving an example of like her name even says it. Like I typically like you never really hear Tommy say fuck white people unless a white person actually says something to him during that show.
Well, no, I like Tommy. I'm not so much talking about Tommy because Tommy's more fair and balanced.
Yeah,
Like,
that's why I was giving two examples of like kind of pro black people, and then kind of like somebody like Tommy or somebody like me. You know, I give my platform open like to anybody. Blake's been on there a couple times the past week or so. You've been on there a couple times. I'm not with that shit. I'm all about who can help me move forward, who has like thought processes, who's trying to build for their family.
we'll see. Okay, so if you're gonna name one white men content creator on YouTube,
Dave Rubin.
no. Dave Rubin is a liberal.
Well,
He's
you said name a content creator.
no a white man, like a white red pill, like not like a white guy on YouTube, but name a manosphere that's geared towards white people. That's the platform is openly known to be for white people.
I don't know one.
There's not like
I don't know one.
like there isn't, and like that's the other issue like in my mind I'm trying to wrap around how exactly we're going to be how like where do we go from here, because I can have like we can have O'Shea Jackson talking shit about white people, we can have MTR talking shit about white people. Kevin Samuels really isn't like he's not really like anti-white, pro-black, he's not really like that, but MTR's crew's like that. Jessica X is like that. Any of these level up girls, any of these Christies, all these girls that are going at Samuels, they're like that. There's majority of the people that are on this platform that talk about men and women relationships on either side is anti-white. All right. So where do we go? Like, where do we go from here? Because if black folks are going to be able to like if they're going to be able to be the main voices that are in the space, and there's nothing wrong with them having their space, but if their platform is going to be geared against white folks and you can't really be a part of that space, but at the same time I can't make a pro-white red pill section because that would be hate speech or racist, or I'd get deplatformed for that. Anyone would. So like what do we do? Like what is the play here? What's going to be the manosphere going forward? Because really
Have the pro white manosphere, but just don't call it the pro white manosphere. I don't know. My Kevin, you glad you brought up Kevin Samuels. My only issue with him is that he shits on the blue collar man, and that's what really drives the fucking country. The type men that he describes is what the top 1 to 5% of the population.
well, he doesn't actually show on the blue collars. I've seen many videos of him telling people that blue collars are actually good. But hey, what's going on, John?
Hey man, what's going on?
Not too much.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Ah, crap.
Yeah, we can hear you, John.
Yeah, I was just going to comment on the topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Savage. I don't see anybody on YouTube anymore that talks for white men.
Well, like I'm not even so concerned about it being for white men, but this is the issue.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
more
talking
of
about for like the white conservatives. White conservatives.
I'm not even concerned so much about that. This is my crux right here. There's more of a legislation and like when it comes to shaming of men, regardless if you go to these women that are leveling up and they talk about black men, all the stereotypes that most of the stereotypes that they have about how they need a six-figure man to take care of them, that isn't really like that isn't a white or black thing. That is a man thing.
No, that's not.
When it comes to divorce courts, that's a man thing. So we're in the situation where either you're white or black, the system is geared towards both of us negatively. Like if you go to family court, the judge doesn't really care if you're white or black when it comes to taking your kids from you and making you pay child support. But it's come to a point where you have so many content creators that are just shitting on white people to where white people can't really even be involved in it. Like, I just think that's toxic. Like, that's not going to benefit
Oh, me
men.
too.
So, like, what do we do from here? Because, like, if you listen to like David Sharp or Donovan Sharp isn't his platform isn't like that. It's about men. But
Tell you the
like,
truth, I don't know.
Man,
because that's the other thing. Like, there's not a whole lot of content creators that I can even like. It's hard for me. Like, it's hard for me to get other content creators on the platform, or for me to be on their platform, or for us to collaborate, because majority of the content creators in the space are black and their audience hate white people. So like the space is dominated with this like toxic mindset of fuck white people. And like you can even see it with
Or
like
the white
just what's that?
the white people that are on the white boys that are on YouTube, they're just soy boys, liberals. That's all you ever see.
Savage, you have to utilize people like me who you know isn't on some fuck white people shit. You have to utilize people like Blake who isn't on fuck white people or black people shit. You just have to build your own space and get those people that you want. You just have to utilize what you have in your space.
No, I agree. But like if you go down, okay, so us being in the manosphere or red pill or male nature or female nature, there's very few like it's not a big community. Like it's not huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if you were to go name and if you go down and name like the red pill content creators, you've got the roommates, you've got Kevin Samuels, you got mediocre tutorials and reviews, you got O'Shea Jackson, you've got Jessica
There's
Act,
a coach. There's a coach. Some guy. Some Coach
you got
Adams or something. I've been hearing about.
you got Coach Adams, you've got there's a couple people that
You got you.
you got, yeah, you got a couple people that are linked up with media tutorials and reviews, and like that's like literally all black content creators, and like like the majority of the content creators in this platform are black, and
I got
majority.
somebody. I got somebody for you that's in Cleveland named Kevin in Sales. He does rail pill content. He isn't on fuck the white man or any of that shit. He's a cool dude. Y'all should link up. I'll send you his channel information when we get off. But he's in Cleveland with you. And he's
Sweet.
definitely big on red pill.
That means that we could collaborate together. But like, that's the thing. Like even when I was just watching media tutorials and reviews was just doing a stream, and to start off his stream, he mentioned like the social issues that we were going through and the things that had to happen the way they did. And so like at the end of the day, like I'm not exactly sure like where we go from here, because like it seems like the space is getting overtaken more and more by this anti-white narrative. And like there was a, I forget which content creator I was watching that said this, but pretty much if we want to change the way that women behave, we're as men, we're all going to have to set a standard and we're going to have to stick to it. Well, you can't really stick to a standard if you're excluding a group. You know?
Yeah.
And you really can't, like, it also is bad because you have the black women that are pink pill or whatever, like whatever their thing is, that are like they're putting white dudes on a pedestal. So then like that makes it to where like white guys are just like we're just elevated because we're white, which isn't true in any way. So there's just this weird dichotomy that's happening, and I don't understand like how we're going to get our movement to actually do anything that's good, because there's 40 million black folks in America, and there's like what 200 and some million people that are white.
Yeah, that's why I
So
said you have to just build your movement, and hopefully other like-minded people will come along and just stay away from those. That's like I said. I'm black, and I have every time I have a show, somebody will say some pro-black rhetoric, and I will have to challenge them, and then I end up getting into an argument with them where I'm called all types of names for simply just asking questions and challenging their narrative. It happens every single time. I just stay away from those people. I don't go where they are.
like I totally agree. Like don't get me wrong, like I totally agree, but it's predominantly because like honestly like the white guy like the white guy male like male men right thing is pretty much like you've got like Better Bachelor, you've got like Terrence Pop, and like those white guys that aren't like it's just about men in general. But like those guys aren't the guys that are going viral. They're not the guys that are really like they're not prominent in the like they're big in the space, but they're not like the voices in the space. Like most of the voices in the space are like anti-white. So like I just don't see I don't see this manosphere thing working out in the future is really what I'm saying.
I'm just getting privy to knowing that Red Pill was manosphere and all of that stuff. But hey, Blake, I'm just now like within the past couple of days, I'm just now realizing that's what the manosphere is. And I guess I have to just keep stressing it, just like I tell Blake all the time. I tell Blake would be a great content creator because of the stuff he speaks. You gained a nice size following in a short amount of time, so just keep at it. And the two guys that you just named, reach out to them, and y'all do y'all, and just grow from there. We can't worry about what somebody else is doing. If you're seeing a problem, you have to be the one to enact change to be like, hey, I see what's going on. I don't like it. That should motivate you to go extra hard to try to get the shit back to a level playing field.
What is that on your face, Blake?
I've
I've got a couple. Is that what you're talking about?
What's that?
That's a sly white boy goatee is what that is.
That's the country boy goatee.
It's not long like yours yet.
Yeah, dude, don't jock my swag now.
I did this patch down here when I was young. Now I'm doing like a half thing, you know. Eventually it'll cultivate right here where I can grow a full beard, but I'm not there yet. So
Come on, Ash, dude, come on. I'm on live.
And matter of fact, Blake and I battled a pro black guy on my channel the other day.
well, you know what's interesting about that is he was talking about like the government setting aside, you know, pro black areas and stuff. And that's kind of like what's happening on the internet. There you money you mentioned Kevin and Sales and some other guys, and it, when you get on there to have like a good conversation with them, it's almost as if you're like the court jester. They're going to do their pro black thing and they're going to talk about pro black thing and racism and systemic this and you know fuck the white man while you're there, even though you're putting your best foot forward trying to talk to them as just people, you know, like you're trying to talk to them as you know a man, for instance, or whatever the issue may be, trying to give them another perspective, and you know to kind of reach out to say, hey, it's not as bad as you think it is. It's not the white devil. Nobody's against you. It may have been the government, but the government's not white. The government's just power and force. Like I don't understand where these people get off thinking that something is going to be different if they have their own areas. Are you going to reinvent something, or are you just going to fall into a different kind of racism? I don't understand what it is.
Yeah, like I don't really understand. Like I really don't understand. Like I really don't understand like what the agenda is, because like literally every time, like it's getting to the point where like I have to watch politics. Like I watch like 80 I've watched like 80 to 90 hours of YouTube a week, and like I gotta stop watching red pill content, because most of the red pill content I'm watching is just like, women are doing this, blah blah blah, but fuck the white guy. I'm like, why? Like what? Like you were talking about how women are skeezers, and all of a sudden your next sentence is fuck white guy. Like what? It doesn't even make any sense.
Well, the pro black agenda is to make black people feel good to get money out of them. That's at the end of all of their pro black talking, they want to sell black people something at the end of all of it. That's their agenda, point blank, period. And I
I
battle
told
those people because I tell them all the time, like, y'all are displaying the racism that y'all say that white people have, and then they say black people can't be racist, and then I just say shit me.
Well, like I totally agree with you. Like I totally think that like on some level it's a ploy, but at the same time, here's the issue. Like being a white dude, all right? If I go out of my way, like if I go out of my way and say the wrong thing, like it doesn't even have like I can say something and someone can interpret it, and literally I'm gonna get hit with flagging for hate speech. Like that's the other thing. Like it like you can say blatant racism shit right on TV, like right on YouTube about white people, and it like you can flag it, and it's not a thing. But like I'm trying to say like listen, I can't say black like when I'm typing in conversations trying to say like statistics. The other day I was
I
trying to
can't
type
say black
statistics.
people either.
I can't, like I'm trying to type in the chat, and it was like, what was I saying? I forget what it was, but it was a good statistic. It was a good statistic about black men, and YouTube would not let me say it just because it said
Nope.
like 90 some percent or something like that. But you can literally get on YouTube and just talk mad shit about white folks. So like
I can't type white people in either. Black woman, certain words after black you can't say. White. The Google moderator is cutting the fuck up now. It's almost like it's YouTube Junior.
It, does the channel or the content creator have like certain? Can they put in certain keywords to remove from the content?
Yeah,
Like,
you can, but who would sit there and have a list of fucking words for Google to take out?
well, I haven't done the channel thing yet, but I would imagine like moderators and even the channel creator obviously probably wants to keep uh, their channel from getting flagged. So, I mean, I can see the benefit in putting in those keywords to remove stuff like that from the chat.
Well,
I
the
mean,
Google, that's the thing. YouTube is going to censor what can and can't be said on there anyway. Like they decided that you could not use the eggplant emoji for dick anymore, and you can't use that. You can't use the emoji, or you can't say the word dick. You have to find creative ways to say these things using asterisks or running the words on together for it to be able to show.
I know you guys like Tommy, and I think he's a really really talented guy, but he's a perfect example of this and that what you were talking about, where the conversation. He's got an immense audience. He's got a lot of talent. He's funny. He's got all that stuff, and he's got enough intelligence and insight to actually do some good and have some good conversations. But you know, I started to take issue where his content would just go off the rails, and it was just drama stuff and just trying to get money from people. And I'm going, okay, you know, you built up a great platform. You got a lot of money. You got a lot of followers. Come forward with it, and he always kind of reverted to the racism kind of thing, and the white man, just like Savage is talking about, and I couldn't stand it anymore.
Well, listen, don't get me wrong. Like a lot of the times when people bring up the white man argument, there are a lot of things. There's a lot of things that you can make you can make valid points about. But the issue, that they like, this is the issue that is a false straw man. So when they say, okay, redlining, okay, that was the Democrats, that was the elite that was doing that. That wasn't the guy that's working at Ford. He's not redlining. But
You can't tell them that.
but exactly. So like if I was to say, a darker melanin person stole my bike, and every time I had a bike in my neighborhood, it got stolen by a melanin person, they'd be like, well, you can't associate that with everybody, but like bankers are redlining people, but now it's the white man. So like there's just this disingenuousness. And a lot of the times when stuff is given credit to white people, when it's given to white people, like it's not even good, because most of white people are poor. Like most white people are poor. Like that's like only 10% of the population in America makes over 100K. The
But
median,
they know this. They
yeah, but
know
they
this because
still,
they always point out how white people receive welfare more. They will throw that out there in a heartbeat, but then will automatically assume all white people are rich.
I think the unfortunate part about all this, and it used to just be kind of the left, so to speak, and it's probably always been racial activist groups, but it's even permeated into the conservative side of talk and media. These conversations are always framed around racial lines, like whether it be poverty or crime. And to me, it's a whole lot more beneficial for people to not frame them around racial lines, but circumstances, like broken homes, for instance. There's a
yeah,
lot
but
of people. There's a lot of black people that have broken homes, and they're raised without fathers, and they get abused and molested and all that kind of stuff. But the same rate of criminality you're going to find in white people that are subject to those same circumstances too. It's not
well,
white
see,
or black. It's I had a bad fucking childhood.
yeah, but see, here's the other issue. So the Democrats pushed welfare. So
Yeah, I mean,
is it true that that community was targeted? It is. But again, it was the elite that write the bills. It was 1% of the population. And then it's like, well, white people wanted to destroy our families, so fuck white people. But like, unfortunately, I live in the exact same neighborhood that you lived in. So like, I don't know how, like, I don't know why you have so much like I don't understand why you have so much ire towards white people. But if I was to make a comment about, again, like my bike being stolen, you would tell me to blame that guy and not you. But when it comes to Lyndon B. Johnson targeting Detroit with welfare, oh, that was me too. And it's like that doesn't make any sense.
People are just stupid and they want to have an excuse for the behavior that they have displayed and that's held them back personally. And I have to every single time I have a show with someone that comes up with the pro-black rhetoric, I'm like, that sounds good and all. I said, but at the end of the day, it sounds like you're making excuses because you want to leave out certain parts of history. Just blame the white man for everything. And like at that point, like we were arguing over Black Wall Street, which made Blake go do some more research on it, and it's just amazing how black people are still being miseducated and just running with narratives. It just furthers the point that a lot of the times they don't even look up the shit that they're saying. So it just goes down to people being stupid.
Like I agree, but here's the issue. So here on YouTube, just like in society, you have the law and everything geared towards women. So you have women that can say talk mad trash about men, and when you say stuff about women, they're going to flag you for hate speech and they're going to flag you for harassment. All right. So then, as a white man in the manosphere, if you say something, the black folks can do the same thing. Like the so like that poisonous racism culture of hate white people is affecting the manosphere because most of the predominant like black voices are black and have anti-white sentiment in it. Like the whole reason that Kevin Samuels has been talked about a lot is because he had a video that went viral
About a woman.
about a woman on World Star. The only way
Yep.
that a clip with like right now, like me and you talking, the only way a clip of us is going to go on World Star is if I'm talking shit about you. Like,
Well, no, I might be called a coon because I said people are stupid, and it just goes to show that they don't. So yeah, they might be like, this guy's a coon. Listen to him.
what's up, Mott?
Well, I get it. I get it both ways too, because I mean, I can't talk about black women and well, yeah, I guess I just can't talk about black women. I don't know. I don't go out of my way to say anything negative about white people or black people per se.
How are you doing, Mott?
Yo, what's up, man? It's man tomorrow, man. What's going on, man?
Not too much. Just looking into just like this toxic behavior has been creeping in the manosphere. Like it's literally like I've been having issues with it for like this whole 2020, and I just wanted to get other people's opinion on how they feel it going. Like what do they think's going on?
I mean, I mean, me personally, I'm a ex-military guy. I'm obviously down south around the 270 area right now. I live in Columbus. I have a place here in Columbus, but I live in Colorado. But at the end of the day, it's just that a lot of this stuff happened within the manosphere because people had a lot of oh shit. Like, am I echoing somewhere?
No, you're good.
Okay. All right. Well, that must be me. Yeah. It's just that I think that a lot of people here are having these problems because they had so much time to think alone, and I think that a lot of people reverted back to their baseline programming. That's what I think that you're seeing within 2020 within the manosphere. To be quite honest with you, without any type of improvement, people revert back to their baseline programming. To be quite honest with you, no matter what that was, good or bad. And I think most of these people haven't done any of the work personally, and that's kind of where we're at within the manosphere at large. Most, most black or white, it doesn't matter.
One of the things that I think kind of hurts guys in general talking about stuff on YouTube is like our competitive nature. The other night, Money was talking about child support, and a guy got on there and he was calling all of us bullshit and telling us that we didn't know what the hell we were talking about because he was
Child support.
yeah, we were talking about child support and kind of our experiences with custody and stuff like that and women. And this guy got on there and he was from California. And he said he'd been locked up and he got into the library and we were all just whiners because we were bitching and moaning and complaining about the system. And it worked out for him in California. He was telling us we didn't know what we were talking about. Well, it turns out the laws and the process in California is a whole lot different than it is anywhere else. But he got on there trying to put himself above everybody else instead of being knowledgeable about, he was just telling everybody that we were whiners and we hadn't educated ourselves. Like, look, dude, California is not Arkansas. California is not Tennessee. California is not Ohio. It doesn't work out the way, guys do that with money too. The conversation just goes away and it breaks down and guys start, how much money do you make? Well, I got this and I got this and you don't know shit. And nobody can
I try to
listen.
stay out of those conversations because it's just a problem because people trying to prove how masculine they are via circumstance versus the actual laws and shit that actually affects people differently where they are. Like me, I'm in Colorado. The child support system there is fucked up. Mississippi, actually where I'm from, situation there is way more fucked up than most places in the country. And me, as a person who don't have any kids, I would never try to get on here, try to big boss a big brother, any motherfucker about their particular situation because normally they're not lying about that shit. That's just me. I mean, it could just, but that's just me. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
be nice. This is who I am as a person. So.
No, even like he's talking about in man, so to speak, spaces. Why not cooperate? Why can't we listen to one another? Why can't we throw out ideas? Why do we have to get tribal along racial and money lines and competitive nature as, you suck and I'm better than you? It's so stupid.
I'll give you guys a great example. Have you guys ever heard of a guy named King Richards?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so I just got turned on to King Richards like Friday. I was watching some of his videos. He was doing a live stream Friday night, and they were talking about interracial people. All right, and people were saying like they were saying something about the difference between having a white mom and a black mom. All right, and obviously I have a mixed kid, and I was like, yeah, but they were talking about whitewashing. When you mix with black people, you're whitewashing their culture, and I was like, but that's not true, like, because they were saying statistically the black male is better to be the father of a mixed child than a white father, and I was like, yeah, but at the same time, like, if you have your father and your mother, one side is teaching that child one side of their lineage, and then the other side is teaching the other side of their lineage. And like I literally am a white man with a kid, so like I am the perfect demographic to talk about that specific thing that they were mentioning. And it was like, yeah, but you only have one mixed kid and you're white, so it's like you don't really know what you're talking about. But like everyone that's there doesn't have any mixed kids. So I was like, how do you know anything about, if you don't even have one kid, you don't even have a black kid. So how are you going to tell me about kids? Like, it's just weird. Like the manosphere has become very toxic. It's just sad. It's really sad because this is about men. It shouldn't matter what color you are. It should matter about us losing our place in society as men and us being shit on by the government and by women, because what people don't realize is even white women are doing the same shit that black women are doing. They have the exact same attitude. They still talk back to us. They still are expecting crazy amounts of things that black women are doing. Like I have a baby mom that's black and I have a baby mom that's white. And the only difference between those two people is my baby mom that's white can say you're a piece of shit and you're not here for your kid, and my black baby mom can say you're a piece of shit, you're not here for your kid. The difference between the two of them is one can call me a racist, the other one cannot. That is the only difference.
It can use that shit against you in the courtroom. Yeah. So
Yeah, like that's the only difference between the two. One can call me a racist and the other one can't. Besides that, they all say, like, when they're mad, they say the same shit. Like, they say the exact same shit.
yeah, it's like a lot of people. I have to remind that women are one group, period, all together, black or white, Hispanic or whatever the fuck, Indian. It doesn't matter. Well, not Indian with tribal laws, but they're one group. So you have to realize that only half of the country show up to vote. And with only half the country showing up to vote, that means that men who are all affected by the outcomes of parental decision making should always be showing up to vote just as much as the fucking women do. And even though like most of the men be on that bullshit, be like voting with women and all that kind of shit, I get all that. However, every man should be able to make the minimum amount of decision and choice when it comes to voting. Like me, I don't have kids. I'm in my 40s. I don't have kids. But I used to be in law enforcement in the military. I know how the shit works when it comes to all that shit. I have brothers, I have motherfuckers who I stationed with. Fucking bullshit. And nothing that I wanted to go with. But right now I went to another culture. But at the end of the day, a lot of people think that because they switch up, the shit's gonna matter. I'm like, at the end of the day, the shit could still end up being the same way. And the only way we're gonna fix this shit is by having a person who's you guys, you're white, I'm obviously black. You have somebody who's like Latino, some guy from the fucking like Asian community and Arab community, and we'd be on this fucking panel and be like, look, this is what we're all gonna vote for as men. And we're gonna all show up to these fucking polls all over the fucking country as men. We're gonna overturn these court cases and shit. Cause me, look, I don't have kids, but I can know what the fuck y'all go through. Cause my brother goes through the same shit in different states. I know. You're not lying about what the fuck's going on with these goddamn situations. So it's right.
Well, not just that, but here's the other issue when it comes to voting. So, like, when you have affirmative action doesn't benefit black men or white men. It benefits black women and white women. So, just with that being said, that policy is affecting men in general. It's not. Yeah. It's not about our color. It's about us having a penis.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's about equal outcomes without equal input. Like, I went through this shit when I was in the military. Women, when they went up for below the zone, I was in the Air Force. So, when women went up for below the zone, if you was up against a woman, you automatically fucking lost. Doesn't matter what the fucking portfolio looked like. And that's kind of the way the shit is. And most people don't understand that these actual systems are not about the best outcome. It's about fulfilling a specific outcome regardless of work.
Hey, Mott, you were in law enforcement, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did you notice that law enforcement would act differently or have a worse outcome as far as interactions with the public when women were involved? It seems to me whenever women are either like a responding officer, if there's a woman at the scene,
mm-hmm.
things always tend to go off the rails. If it's just guys reacting to either a suspect or a victim or whatever, they tend not to lose their head. But as soon as a woman's involved, I see some pretty outlandish shit happen sometimes
on both sides.
Yeah.
On both sides, and
Yeah.
most time it goes in favor of the woman, no matter who shows up. Even if the woman is, I said, a woman with blood on her fucking hands, jugged the fuck out of this fucking dude. He's dead. Somehow they still was trying to find a reason for this bitch to go home.
Right.
Crazy shit. So it's like, and like, I was federal and like overseas law enforcement and shit. I don't have too much experience outside of military bases inside the United States, obviously. But that's what I see. But, dealing with federal shit overseas on military installations and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
It's
like,
impossible to think that the women are not abusing the same laws in the United States. It's just impossible because they came from here. So.
well, like here's like the other thing. So a few months ago, I did a story on a woman, and this woman was cheating on her husband, and her husband wanted a divorce, and she ran him over with the car, and she hit him with the bumper. She spit on him while he was unconscious or laying there. He might have been conscious. He was in his pool of his own blood, and she talked shit to him while he laid there. No one went there to help him. Nobody tried to give him medical attention. They put a sheet over him. If it wasn't for him starting to move while he was laid in a pool of his blood, no one would have noticed that he was alive. It wasn't until they noticed that he was alive that he got medical attention. And do you know what that woman got charged with?
Probably like some low level fucking assault charge.
Assault with a deadly weapon is all she got.
Yeah. Put it down. Yep.
Not attempted murder.
Not attempted murder. And
No, I mean, like attempted murder would have been like the primary paperwork, but after the simp ass fucking district attorney DA walks in there, talk to her for 15 minutes without a fucking attorney, they're trying to like let her ass off and don't let her ass be above like a 3. Then she's really getting the fuck off with nothing.
well, here's the other thing. So at the scene of the crime, she was charged with assault with a deadly weapon. Like that's what she was booked as. So like that was already a low standard. And do you know what color she was?
What's
Black. Do you know what color her husband was?
that?
Black. So like,
Dude, there's so much that go on with that shit. It's like in those type of situations, we know any of the races change opposite. That's a 25 a year to life sentence for anybody else. Outside of white, black, white, male, woman, man, woman. Like if that was like an Asian man on a fucking Hispanic, boom, automatic 25 to life.
and like that's the issue I have. That's why like this thing doesn't make any sense to me with this manosphere, because like clearly that was like no one can say that it like that was a negative effect because of race. They were the subject was black, the both people were black, and the only person that got fucked in that situation was the man, because his wife didn't get charged with what she should have been charged with. But then we come here on the internet and you have people talking about like how to improve men, how to be better, and it's like, but fuck those racist white people. It's like, but these things affect you as a black man against a woman just as it affects a white man against a woman. Because if a woman runs me over with a car, listen, I have a great story. All right, I have a great story. So my cousin, who's a female, she was on bond or on probation or something. She quit reporting. The police seen her. She had a warrant for her arrest. She ran.
Quit reporting.
Yeah, she quit reporting. She got in a car. The cops seen her. They went to arrest her. She went on a high-speed chase for like 30 minutes with the police.
That's all back 25 years. Like hold on. For anybody who's out there listening, if you go on a high-speed chase with the fucking police, it's an automatic 25 years to life prison sentence. Right.
So
automatic.
She ran. They had the sheriffs. They had Ravenna City Police after her. They had like 3 departments chasing her. There was like 12 cop cars that chased her, and she went to my grandfather's house. They tased her, drug her out of the car. All right. Guess how much time she got for that?
6 months.
Whoa, total?
This was earlier this year. This was like,
I'm gonna say 6 months.
February or March, and she's out. She's not in jail.
Well, all right. So since you don't know how that works, she probably got locked up and snitched on a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like even if she would have snitched, like
it's always an exchange deal, dude. It's always an exchange deal.
But bro, like she has her kids. Like I'm telling you, like whatever happened, she was given latitude because she was a woman. Like I have a criminal record. I've been arrested many, many times.
Plus who she snitched on. Trust me, it matters who you can bring down once you're in those situations. I'm telling you, as a guy who was behind the scenes in those type of situations, that she brought down somebody.
bro.
Hopefully it's not just because she's a woman. Jesus, that would be bad. But like most of those situations, she bring down people.
I'm telling you, bro, this bitch ain't no criminal. Like she ain't no mastermind. She don't know the plug. She don't know the guys that are moving and shaking out here. Like she don't know that shit.
Oh, okay.
She's a woman. Like she's a woman. Like that's exactly what it comes down to.
And I recall the judge, dude. Like judges, it's kind of like I'm in transportation, so if you feel like a company is stiffing you or what the fuck ever, you can go look up their track record of what they charge versus what they collect. You gotta have these fucking judges having fear, legitimate fear based on bullshit decisions like that. You gotta fucking start pushing the issue. And recalling the judge is not a hard issue, but it's doable. It's very doable and it's very easy. But a lot of people don't go through with actually doing the process because they get locked up and then they try to do like an ethics charge against the judge and all that shit. No, it matters before you actually get like a felony offense. Especially when it comes to like these magistrates and all that type of shit. You can stack up a whole bunch of ethics charges on these people pretty quick, get them kicked off the court. But damn, that is fucking horrible, dude. Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Yeah,
6 fucking months? Wow.
Yeah, like I'm not exactly sure the time, but I know she had probation violations, and then I know she got more charges on top of it, which automatically a probation violation is 9 months. Like you can get up to 9 months on a probation violation. So
easily.
Yeah, like I've had 28 probation violations in my criminal career, so I know how that system works. And for her to be going to jail earlier this year and to already be out after she ran from the police and they had to tase her, and I think she hit one of the cops on top of it. I'm like,
Jesus Christ, man.
That's bullshit. Like I look at the cop the wrong way, I'm getting my ass whooped. Like
there was a bank manager here in town, in my town, and over the course, I think it was like 6 or 7 years, she stole $360,000 from bank people there. Not only did the bank not catch it, but one of the customers had to report it. Anyway, it was like $360,000, and she went to an Obama appointed female judge, federal judge, and they gave her less than a year.
For that kind of money, come on, man. Jesus Christ, man. These motherfuckers are getting away with all types of shit, man. This shit.
Yeah, they gave her less than a year, and when she got the sentence come out, a bunch of people were posting it on like community Facebook pages, and people were talking about how bullshit the sentence was. And you should have seen it wasn't just women, it was men too, but mostly women coming on there saying, leave this woman alone, she's got a family, she blah 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 this and blah 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 that, and everybody makes mistakes. And I'm like, that's not a mistake. You didn't have a family emergency and you had to swipe 10 grand from somebody one time. You did this over and over and over and over again for years upon years, stealing $360,000, and we can't criticize the sentence on a Facebook page because she's a fucking woman? Are you kidding me? It plays out the tribalism plays out everywhere. And what Savage is talking about is men will choose money, men will choose racism, men will choose tribalism, and the dividing line in this country, and it's getting worse and worse every election cycle, is men getting killed in the ballot box by women. And
by a long shot.
Well, like this is like I just don't know where we go from here with the manosphere, because if it's going to become the majority dominated by black content creators and it's going to be majority a racist idea on those channels, like how exactly are we actually going to benefit men in general? Because there's not enough black men to vote to change the laws. And
I have a strategy. That's pretty much unorthodox. What you do is you go after or try to make Sandman, Terrence Pop, these people sort of the first thing they got to do is they have to go after the black content creators when it comes to these actual game bullshit and the actual dating coach shit. That's the first thing that you have to do because out of the MGTOW spaces and the other spaces, these grifters who come along to the fuckery profiteers, right? That's what we call them on the black side, who come in, they get kind of free reign, the type of to act like they're sort of a businessman when it comes to other spaces. Now we know they're full of shit over here on the black side. We know that, but it's just that there are large people on the right who they kind of leverage their marketplace audience over there, and that's where it's great to kind of hold them responsible because to be quite honest, the failure rate when it comes to men is pretty goddamn high, and it's nearly 100% when it comes to black men on this side. To be quite honest, it is. They have the cool uncle bullshit come through. They fake like they know about women, then all of a sudden you believe all the same dumb bullshit that any other piece of shit fucking teaches these dudes that they meet out in the streets. So I think that it's best to start with the larger people on the right to kind of box out the people on the left because the people on the left of this spectrum when it comes to this shit comes to the people who have this kind of air of superiority when it comes to calling people out over bullshit issues when there's a lot of shit that goes on. So
What's up, Lawrence?
Hey, Savage, what's going on? Hey, MOT, good to see you.
what's going on, man?
Hey, Blake, it's our first time, man, but nice to meet you, man.
Likewise. What are you a doctor of, Mr. Guy?
That would be philosophy.
You should have told him this dick.
When I was in high school, when I was in high school,
I'm past the pussy stage, so it ain't gonna be that. So
Yeah, but it'd been funny. That's all.
I got real interested in philosophy when I read the Trial and Death of Socrates, and I asked my teacher at the time. It was an advanced placement course, and I said, "What can you do with a philosophy degree?" He said, "Teach philosophy." I said, "Well, I guess I'm out of the philosophy degree department."
And guess what? He was still wrong. Not a damn thing is the answer he should have gave you.
Yeah. Well, that was enough for me not to go toward the philosophy degree.
So Lawrence, so this is the topic.
Yeah, I've been listening in the background.
So I feel that the red pill or the manosphere space is becoming quite toxic. Like it's become more toxic this year. And where do we go in this man space on like where do we go from here? If it's becoming so blatantly toxic that like majority of the big content creators on the platform are like I can't really think of any big like super big relevant white people that are content creators. The most of them are black, like, and most of the audiences that are in those spaces hate white folks. And a lot of the times, the content creator themselves talk about white people or Becky's or Karen's daughters. So where do we go if we're going to move an agenda for men going forward? If predominantly white people are not really welcomed in the manosphere as a whole. Like obviously we're allowed to be in the chat and we're allowed to donate money and buy merchandise, but besides that, we're not that welcomed.
Well, okay. Well, you and I go back quite a ways to another channel we used to listen to. Yeah. And we used to be on. So that aspect of seeing how you were treated in that space in comparison to everybody else was brutally and abundantly clear. There's no mistaking that. I think the situation we have now, and MOT and I have talked about this on numerous occasions ourselves. I don't, if I'm going to be brutally honest, I don't see this space lasting. I think it's done. I honestly, truly believe it's over. We've got a variety of things going on that, let's be honest, for men like us, we're outnumbered across the board because it used to be our issue was fighting feminism. And then it became women who trying to get the bag. Then it became fighting other men like us who are co-signing with the other two types of women we talked about. Now we're literally getting into a space where we have people coming in, black or white, doesn't make a difference, but we have people who are coming in that have no understanding, or they just don't care about what's happening to men like us. It's all about getting that super chat money, getting that Patreon going, so on and so forth. I think for men like us, and again, this is not a color thing. I'm just men, period. Men like us who trying to survive in this madness. We have to treat it just like I always talk to you about when it comes to pussy. We got to walk away. It's just not for us. It's not for us. They're not they're not trying to assist us. They don't care about us. It's just you got to walk away. And unfortunately, I know I say that a lot. I do. I really, really do. And I wish that I had another answer. I really do. But I don't see it because we've got people coming into this space now who have no interest in what we're talking about. They have no care whatsoever what's going on with us. They just want to be here to collect their subscribers, like I said, get their super chats, their Patreon, monetization, and et cetera, and so on. And and it's a problem. And I also think that, like you said a second ago, this black man, white man thing, look, I don't know how to say it. We've got to end it. We just do. Because, like you said a second ago, neither side has enough men on it to win. That's just fact. I don't care if it's white, it's black, it's Spanish. There's not enough. We have to find a way to come together and group together and find a space for ourselves and find a way to step outside of this space and do our own thing where we're totally separated from them. That's all I really got. I don't know any other words to put it. I don't. But from what I've been seeing, it's getting bad. And personally speaking, I think it's going to get worse. I also think there are people in here claiming to be manosphere, but they're really undercover agents. They're taking names, they're watching channels, you know what I'm saying? They're reporting back to their masters. Like I said this months ago, man, I don't see it lasting. I just don't.
Because most things that were going to be this, that most of the mainstream people who you want gone, that's just going to be considered hate speech. And I'll just give it a time period, probably less than a year, and those people are going to be the hell up off here anyway. So it's just like more substantive conversations that not strictly around the actual activities of women, despite what you see. None of that shit's going to be happening here in less than a year, I estimate. Anyway.
Well, here's my thing. I'm not disagreeing with your estimation. I'm not disagreeing with anything. I guess what I have more or less is questions. The first thing is that, look, you kill one, two more will come and take its place. That's fact.
Now.
So we're never going to get rid of them. We're just not. So even with the time frame you gave, I just see getting rid of one problem to have it replaced by two others afterwards. The classic head of the Hydra kind of thing. So I don't see it. I'm sorry, Blake. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. Do you guys? For everybody on the panel, do you guys think that it's possible to make a living actually talking about like issues rather than bringing in the drama? I'm talking about transcending the black and white, even man versus woman thing, and talk about people against the system. Do you think people would monetarily support that, not only in money but in number and sharing and stuff? Some of the creators that I think that have gone off the rails, I can think of 3 or 4 right off the bat, but they've chosen to go down the route of drama streaming, and that seems to get a whole lot of money, no matter the quality. Is it possible to actually talk about substantive things and to stay on course, and make a good go of that?
I don't think so. I don't think, and the reason I say that is because, and Kyle's seen it. The channel we used to be on together, that was his game plan. He would give advice on health. He would give advice on money and how to improve yourself. And the views he would get on those videos were so minimal. It was insane. But as soon as he had a stream where women were present or talking about women, it jumped up exponentially.
Yeah,
Like
same with
like
mine. So,
yeah, like me myself, I'm planning on starting a channel soon. And my channel is I've already come to the realization that my channel will not have a lot of subscribers. I know it won't, because I'll be focusing on business. I'll be focusing on how to increase your status as a man. No women are allowed in there. They show up in the chat, they get removed, yada, 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 yada. I know for a fact I'm not going to have a huge subscriber base. And that's not just me. And that's not just the channel I'm talking about, Kyle and I was on. I've seen other very large publishers of content say the same thing. And that's why they stick to those topics, because they know they get viewerships. They know they get people doing super chats. That's just been my experience. Maybe somebody else got something different.
Well, don't get me wrong. Like, I do believe that, drama definitely gets people's eyes. Like, if you look at the news, it's drama based. But like, if you not necessarily in the manosphere, but I can think of multiple channels that aren't drama based that have big viewerships. like if you look at Tim Pool or any of his channels, he reports on the news. If you look at BCP, Black Conservative Patriot, he reports on the news and he gets a decent viewership. So like, there are channels out there that have big viewerships that aren't drama based. But the issue of it is, so for example, like Kevin Samuels isn't really drama based. Like, he's actually giving advice or suggestions to people, and something he did people didn't like, and that brought more spotlight to him. But he himself, he's not like, he doesn't beef with other content creators. He's not out there talking shit to other content creators. But like, at the same time, like, he calls, like, when women do that colorism bullshit, he checks them on that. So the issue of it is like, when you look at like O'Shea Jackson, or you look at MTR, or you look at King Richards or King Riches, or whatever his channel is.
yeah, King Riches.
If you look at Jessica X, there is Jessica X herself doesn't really say stuff about white people because she's mixed. Her mom's white. But like, when you see the people that jump up on her, when people jump up on her platform, her mods are black people that don't like white people. Like, you have a lot of people that are in a group that don't like white people. And like that, like, even though like the content creator themselves isn't saying it, when you're following, it's toxic. It's a toxic environment. Like, and that's what came up with MTR. Like, MTR started letting the women.
What was MTR?
Mediocre tutorials and reviews.
Oh, okay.
When we started getting more women in the group, in the chats, live chats,
They went crazy. Straight to hell.
It started getting worse. Like, you had girls that were flirting in the chats. You had girls that were calling people dusties. You had girls in there that were calling people broke.
Wow.
You had a lot of male shaming, and then you had guys in the chat that were also simping for these girls. So like, it became bad. And in order for Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews for his channel to blow up, he needed the women.
Sure did.
It was like, when I first got on his channel, he had like 6,000 or 7,000 people, and that was in February of this year.
Actually, it was less than that, because me, you, and Eisen came in roughly around the same time, a couple of weeks in between. But he blew up when the first group of lockdowns happened, and women found his channel. and they just flooded in. And like I said, I remember it clearly because as soon as they got in there, they started shaming men. They started telling men what they should and shouldn't do. They started dogging you out because you were white. You know what I'm saying? And they did that both in the chat and on the panel. Like I said, I was there with you from day one, bro. You know I've seen it all. But what bothered me the more than anything else is when I see that happen on any channel, black man or white man, that doesn't matter to me. What I have a problem with is that if you call yourself a channel for men and it's in a men's space, you as the host allowing women to come in there and talk to other men like that, I got nothing for you. I gotta go. Because like I said, even if you want women to blow it up, your channel, that's one thing. But letting them come in and talk to other men like that when you claim you're a men's channel doesn't sit well with me. I just don't feel it. I just don't.
So like,
all right, man. Well, thanks for having me on, man. I got to roll out, man. Well, thanks for having me on. I'll definitely try to catch your show, and I'll jump on whenever you drop the link, man. My name's Tyrell.
no
y'all
problem.
have a nice one.
Yeah, I'll see you in a few minutes, MOT.
All right, love.
All right.
So like when I was
one of the things that I've noticed, as far as like, well, some of the topics that we talk about don't seem to ever come out in big content creators videos, whether that are manosphere or not. People don't talk about child support or custody or these kind of things, and I don't know if there's not enough left opposition or willingness to get on these platforms and talk about these kind of things, but I don't ever see any dialogue. It's just guys kind of talking in the corner, echoing to a couple dozen other guys. And if you look up child support, the only thing that you're going to find on YouTube is like this is what the Office of Child Support Enforcement, and it was done by the state, and it's 1 minute long, and these are the rules, and there's never conversations about how to change these things, alternative ideas, ways around, how to fight it.
Well, here's the thing, and I got to say this quickly because I'm supposed to be on a panel, so I got to say this quick. Here's the thing, Blake. There are 2 or 3 channels that I'm aware of that explain to you how to go about fighting child support. Yahweh is something, and King Stevion and Beat Child Support. I think of the channels. I can't remember. That's roughly off my head. Here's the thing. I think we've been so beat down, we've been so victimized that we are suffering from Stockholm syndrome. We're actually buying into the propaganda. Because I've said this to men before. We as men have to realize we are victims. And I don't mean victims in the sense of pulling a victim card. We have to start understanding that we are victims of domestic violence by women. Because if they can pull them into an emotional card, so can we. We are also victims of financial abuse. We are victims of, like I said, where we're almost suffering from a Stockholm syndrome type of mentality, where we've gotten to the point that everybody who's tried to fight against child support and et cetera and so on, we have watched them crash and burn so badly that we're in a space where we know we can't defeat it. See, if it was a one-on-one thing, men versus women, we'd be okay. But women have themselves, and they have Uncle Sugar. They have the U.S. government. They have the police. They have the county. They have the state. We are outnumbered, and we have to start realizing that. And that's why I keep saying, and Savage will tell you, I've said it over, we have to walk away, because you don't fight a losing battle. You just don't. And we are at war. We really are. And this is a war we've lost quite some time ago. So do we still sit here going for the tit for tat battles back and forth? Or do we walk away and just go create something new and do our own thing totally separate from it? And I know that's going to be hard. Not every man can do that. I know it's not easy. I swear I know. It was not easy for me. But it is something we have to do, because they're not listening to us any other way. I'm old enough that I'm a boomer. Okay? I've got people who are Gen X. I got people who are millennials. And here's the point that I make. If I'm a boomer and the generation before me wasn't listened to, and my generation wasn't listened to, what makes you guys think they're going to listen to you? They're not. This is done. And we have to find a way to get around it and step outside of it and go do something different.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yeah. And please, Lawrence is fine. I appreciate the respect, but Lawrence is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I think that there's a framing issue here in that I think to reach out to people, especially in the Black community, I think that they don't realize this as much as maybe other demographics do. But the foundational and primary influence and the dividing line between people, citizens, is the government. Their programs and their spending and their corruption and their deficit and everything is a snowball rolling downhill toward hell, like that one white guy said. Anyway, I don't know if it would work, but I think it's certainly something that we could attempt, is to frame it as it's the government that has caused all these things. All the Jim Crow policy, for instance, all these wars, the lies from the media, all these things originate with our controller, our government.
No, I wouldn't disagree with that. I wouldn't disagree with that at all.
And I hear you talking about men versus women. Really, it's not. I mean, even these programs, they hurt society at large. They hurt women. They hurt children. Obviously, they hurt men. We're talking about our perspective from men. Could we make the case to larger society and men and children of broken homes that are adults today, and not only them but women as well, that these programs hurt everybody?
But see, that's the problem. I get what you're saying. And I don't disagree with it. But that would work if we were working within a space of rationale and common sense, and we're not. First of all, being able to deal with the government as opposed to dealing with the woman or women in your immediate vicinity. Okay, it's easier to deal with the woman. Okay, because we're not going to do the government thing, because the women the voting block for women outdoes us, and no woman is going to give up power. Nobody would give up power, and they're certainly not going to give up free stuff. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not sure if I'm saying it right or not.
To a degree, yeah. I think they've got blinders on, and if we can speak to them, on a broader level, to say, look, this is when no fault divorce was implemented, and this is when social welfare this year over the 1960s, and this is the result. This is how many people we have incarcerated. This is the rate of suicide, how it's gone up. This is all these things. The 1%. You could make a case on every political philosophy and ideology why this is a horrible idea and this is a bad track that we're on. I mean,
but what you're saying is nothing new. What you're saying has been said by many of men groups over and over and over again, and we've seen what the reaction to that is. They don't care. We are simply here as a utility, nothing more, nothing less. And again, this has nothing to do with race. This is about men. This is about having a penis. Let's call it for what it is. Okay, so we can do that. White brothers hate black brothers and all that shit later. Right now, we have a bigger problem. We need to survive long enough to be able to have that fight. Does that mean? You understand what I'm saying? We can do the race card all we want to, but here's the deal: they're after all of us. And the fact of the matter is that everybody has done everything you've said as far back as I can remember, starting in the early 80s. And here we are. That's why I said what I did a minute ago. If they didn't listen to us and they didn't listen to the generation before me, they're not listening to you guys in any capacity. There's never been a person in existence who's obtained absolute power and gave it up willingly. This is going to have to be ugly. And it's going to have to be violent. The question is which one do you want to be? Do you want to be the one to walk away and just watch it burn? Or do you want to be one of the ones in the trenches fighting? Me, I'd rather walk away and watch it burn, because I have no interest in fighting for people who didn't want to fight for themselves. I'm just not part of that. I'm ex-military. It's not my thing. And but if you guys are still going to be on, I'll try and come back later. But I got to get to this panel. Savage, it was good seeing you again, brother. Always.
Are you for accelerationism to break it?
Say again?
I said, are you for accelerationism to break the system?
Kyle, can I give the answer that I gave before?
Yeah.
I got gasoline. Call me when you're ready. It's okay. I keep them around. Call me when you're ready.
All right.
All right. I'll see you
Later.
guys in a bit.
Bye.
Later, man. Hey, Mr. A, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Blake? Savage, what's up, man?
Your voice.
How you doing?
I'm glad you have my brother MOT on there, man. I caught on the chat late, but maybe from the gist of it, I see that there is. Can I ask you guys a question? You think is was a conversation about separation in terms of the manosphere?
No. So, the conversation that they were having was not my topic of the video. That was just like what their thoughts were. But the topic of the video mainly is I believe personally that there is a toxicity in the manosphere right now, and majority of the content creators that are prevalent and relevant right now are black, and a lot of their viewership is don't like whites. A lot of the colorism and a lot of the anti-white racism is in these platforms, and it's creating a space where the purpose of us being men and getting on in the manosphere together to change the laws and to change things for the better of men is now not going to work, and it's starting to divide because you have the level up girls that are telling black men that they ain't shit and that white men will treat them better. You have black women telling other black men that you can't trust Becky's daughter or Karen's daughter. You have these content creators having having people in the chat that completely obliterate white people in the chat. And anytime that they talk about white people and you're in that group because you're always outnumbered, it doesn't really matter what you say because you're white. And there isn't enough black men to change the laws, and there's not enough white men to change the laws. So really, the manospheres become polared by race, which really these things affect us regardless of race. Like when it comes down to child support and custody, it doesn't matter if you're black or you're white, you're going to get fucked by the system. And when it comes to affirmative action, as a black man and a white man, we're not going to get affirmative action, but a black woman and a white woman is going to get a job over us because of affirmative action. So the toxicity that I feel is that it's becoming toxic as a whole because we really can't congregate together. Most of the black platforms that I followed, I stopped following them because it became toxic just to be in the chat. Like you just have a bunch of black folks that are in there, and like everything goes back to fuck white people and fuck Becky. Like that's really what most of the chats are.
Got you. So it's not the content creators, more or less the chat room, correct?
In some instances, like if you want me to name a content creator that I don't feel that's like that, like Kevin Samuels, I don't feel is fuck white people. Like I don't think that that's his bag. But if you want,
let me ask you.
Yeah,
do
go
you
ahead.
consider Tariq Nasheed a manosphere guy?
No.
Do you consider Tariq Nasheed a manosphere guy?
No.
Nah, his primary content.
Are there any manosphere guys that? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, who's the manosphere guys who are on this racial platform that are
okay?
like what you describing?
So you've got O'Shea Jackson, which is an OG he's an OG in the platform. You've got mediocre tutorials and reviews. You've got anti-white shit by his content. Like when I say anti-white content, I mean there's a lot of when you say people that look like me or the racism that's in this country. Like when you're in the manosphere, racism in this country really isn't. It's not prevalent to getting fucked in the ass by the family court. Like that doesn't. The family court doesn't see. It doesn't see race when it comes to 75% of men are the people that are killing themselves. it's men. That's not a race issue. So you have like when when George Floyd stuff happened, you had content creators that were on that anti-white soapbox, and that just made the people in the chats that don't like white people already, it add fire to that. And like a content creator that says a lot of shit about white folks is like King Richards or King Riches or King Richard. He's from the UK. If when you go to like Jessica X, like she's mixed. She's really not on that fuck white people platform, but a lot of the chats, like it's to the point where Jessica X she's not letting me on her panel when she's had people call in because I was white, because her viewers are anti-white. So like even if it's not so much about the content creator themselves, it's becoming an environment where you can't even get ones, like you can have all the black people on a panel you want talk shit about white people, but then you can't have a white person because your audience isn't gonna want it. And that, I just don't feel like that's beneficial as men in the sphere of making our lives better.
Savage,
Yeah, no doubt.
Savage, you think that these creators are kind of riding the wave of pro-black or anti-white sentiment from from the left, politically speaking, and they're choosing the money from that as opposed to man content?
Hold on one second.
Well, you got a black
one
man
second,
here.
Blake.
Hold on, let me answer that. Can I answer that? Can I answer that question? When you said,
Go
I
ahead.
just recently got onto Mediocre reviewing tutorials. He's kind of new.
Mm-hmm.
I've been following the Manosphere for a few years, and he's pretty. He might be older, but he's kind of new in terms of him actually being a part of the Black Manosphere. You know what I'm saying? He might have been in the grand scene because he's black, and we throw him in the Black Manosphere. He did it.
Well,
yeah, and he never did any collaborative videos. Now, Shay Du Jackson, that's different. And O'Shea Du Jackson, if you follow his history, he's.
Sorry, you cut out. Mr. A, your volume's gone. Hey, Mr. A, we can't hear you.
Okay. Yeah. I said O'Shea. Yeah, O'Shea Du Jackson. I mean, I don't know his full history, but I do remember when I first started watching him, he was really carrying hard against Tommy Sotomayor. And if you follow Tommy Sotomayor, you kind of know what I'm talking about here. That he started a lot of problems with Tommy Sotomayor. Has been cleared up recently, but a big part of, in my opinion, how he gained his viewership was through the beef with Tommy Sotomayor. You know what I'm saying? I saw that happen. I saw him dox other black folks that I followed as well. So when you mentioned those two names, the other one I'm not sure. You're more of a fan than I am. I don't know, but I do get that pro-black sentiment on there, and I'll break it down like this: they're mad at a guy like you who might get a black woman and think, oh, you don't get her off your own merit. So it's kind of a racial term, if you get what I'm saying. And the flip side as well, because like I said, we can't really talk about the white manosphere because how many black dudes really go on the white manosphere? How many?
There isn't really a white manosphere though.
Yeah, like exactly. We wouldn't even know if there is like one or not.
There's not.
Yeah,
hey,
I don't. Like I said, I don't know.
There's been channels that have been removed that were just accused of being racist.
One, and like I said, a lot of the MGTOW guys, we don't even know who they are because they're hiding behind the screen, so we don't know what ethnicity or race they are. We have no clue. But with the Black Manosphere, you kind of see them front and center. Tommy Sotomayor, who's not really part of it, kind of like one of the godfathers. Most people know who he is. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, the Black Manosphere is going to be more visible, especially now with Kevin Samuels. But like, I don't know the MGTOW channels. It could be the same on both ways, and that's why I got to say, like, where are we going to come together and break bread on a common thing here. Yes, child support is big. There's a black brother by the name of Mr. Palmer. I'm sure you I don't know if you've been on his channel. Mr. Palmer talks about child support very much. League of Dads, that's another channel. But those channels, like I said, they're not big because they don't bring the women on, like you said. So I'm coinciding with everything you say.
So with mediocre Toros and reviews, I was around when he started. Actually, my channel got pushed or started off of him. Like I was on his show a lot, and I was like, if you go to mediocre Toros and reviews and look up a video that he made called "Should You Start a YouTube Channel?" That's literally like a 2-hour interview of me interviewing him about his channel, and that was me launching my channel. So like I was there when he only had like 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers, and like I agree with you. Like Tommy, I wouldn't really call like he's got some red pill in there, but I really wouldn't call him like a manosphere person. But like if you look at like Sandman is a white guy. Like Sandman's a white guy, but Sandman doesn't talk like when you listen to white dudes that make MGTOW comments or MGTOW content, you don't hear anything about race. It's about men and women. But when you listen to black content creators, there is you can hear the distaste for white people. Like I have no problem.
Right, but you have to say who though, and I think what we have to do now in these spaces, we got to call names out. We have to know who.
Like I said,
yeah.
Like Richards.
Are there any more people?
O'Shea.
Okay.
Like you have O'Shea, you have Richards, you have mediocre Toros and reviews.
Richards who?
Like those.
King Richards. You said King Richards.
It's like it's King Richards, I believe.
I heard of that name, but all right. All right. Can we be fair and say big content creators like O'Shea Jack's pretty big, within the YouTube sector at least. A lot of people been put on by him. Mediocre reviews I think is up to 100,000, correct? 100,000 subscribers.
He might be like 80 or 90, but
he's up there, right?
He's up there.
I think Richards. I'm not sure. Is he on that level?
Let me actually go look. Like I literally just found him Friday, and I started watching him Friday, and I had to leave
because I don't know if you heard about this thing. You probably had. You were around Tommy. I think a lot of that racial stuff comes from the swirling aspect of it.
I agree.
Swirling, and let me tell you. Let me break it down. Why? In my opinion, I'm not correct. I'm just going to give my opinion. How many white women you hear on platforms? Whole platforms is about black men, and you step your game up. You take the pink pill for black men. You don't hear that on your side, correct? On your kind of. Do you hear that, Mr. Blake?
No, I don't even know what the pink pill is, and I've never.
Well, let me explain. There's a sector of black women that are led by Crystalline Karazin, who, and a few others. I don't know the numbers, but they're kind of high 100,000, 200,000 subscriber black women that say basically to get a white man, drop the black girl at. So it's a little bit more in tune with that, and to be fair, we do have to add that on there because I don't think that's really talked about, especially if you talk about manosphere. You talk about Shea Jackson. He definitely talks about that. And Shea Jackson really is not even, we consider him manosphere. He's kind of like all over the place, kind of does news blogs and gossiping now. So it's a little different. I would have said, yeah, go ahead.
So with King Riches, so it doesn't show his subscriber count. He has it hidden. But in the last video he posted 14 hours ago, it's got 6K views. The one before that's got 7. The one before that's got 17K, 14K, 23K, 23K, 27K, 15K. So 32K, 64K. So like I wouldn't say he's a super huge channel, but he's not a super small channel either. But so
he's not influential there. He's not influential. He's not influential.
I don't know how long he's been around. I literally just found him I just found him like Friday, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
But
no problem. I was just saying in terms of his influence, he doesn't have like compared to those two you mentioned, he doesn't
yeah,
have the many.
I'm not sure.
Because
Like
even if
I'm
you
really
run,
not sure
even
how.
if you go by his numbers of his videos, you say he probably averages around 20, 15, and maybe 30K on that. That's my son in the background. You might get
Yeah,
like
so
15. Yeah.
I agree with you when it comes to the swirling aspect as being an issue. Like I know that the black women push the swirling on you black men and talk about how you guys ain't shit and they're going to get a white man. I know that that is a narrative that's pushed on their side. I'm not disputing that, but like so you don't really have white content. Like you don't have like white manosphere content, meaning you're not going to find any content in the manosphere that's any sort of decent views that's like this is what white men need to do. Fuck black men. Like you don't hear any sort of like if you talk to Better Bachelor, Terrence Pop, if you listen to Sandman, you're not going to find white content creators that talk shit or make any negative comments about black people and uplift or give a positive spin to white people. You're going to hear that those content creators talk about men and women. That simply put, they're going to say Chad, they're going to say Tyrone. Like they're on the white side, what you would consider the white side, which is really not. It's just white people making content. It's not really racially based.
Let's keep it fair too. I mean, it's just people making content. The Black Manosphere is not even it's not a physical group. It's just a bunch of dudes making content. Yes, they might have a little group within them, but let's keep it real. Like these guys are all separate. But let me ask you one question real quick. With
Yeah.
that, do you believe that the reason why you don't see a lot of white content creators, and even if they were to say stuff like that, was because of the YouTube algorithm will kick them out, and then the black
Well,
side,
Oh yeah, without a
there's
doubt.
there's a double standard. Like, don't get me
and
wrong.
yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to get to that, the double standard, but also that double standard is okay. This black dude can say something about you guys, right? We
yeah,
can't say nothing about white women in terms of that because the only guy that really says that, and even then is Donovan Sharp. Donovan Sharp, if you know that guy, he doesn't really do so many videos directly at white women or any, mainly black, but he does address white women as well. So we don't have that. If we were to talk about white women, we would get kicked off,
no,
in terms of how we talk about black women. Get what I'm saying? In terms of how we talk about
mm,
black women, we would get kicked
no,
off.
no. I've been in many channels where they talk about you can't trust Karen's kids. Bet calling
But who's the content
white
creator
women.
though? I gotta ask who's the content. Tommy
Uh,
Sotomayor does like one or two videos. And I get because we don't have experience with them, like you guys do. It's more of an experience thing. Can we say that correctly or no?
well, see so like, listen, I don't really care. Like, I'm not going to say there isn't differences. I'm not going to say that, but this is the issue. So black men and white men are a lot similar than we are different. So in the greater scheme of things, there's this idea that majority of white people have like this super lavish lifestyle or they have this easy lifestyle. But if you look at just the statistics, which if you listen to Kevin Samuels, he proves it with the statistics that he brings out where he says 72% of women that are married have to work. So if that's 72% of the population have to work and they're married, and black folks make up 13% of the population, and 1 out of 4 black women will get married, that would mean that like 70% or 65% of women are white that are married that still have to work. But there's this idea of like how white people are, but it's not really true. Like, if you're a black man that makes $100,000 a year, you're top 8% of the population. If you're a white man that makes $100,000 a year, you're the top like 14 or 10%. There isn't that much of a difference. There really isn't. But there's been this narrative against white people that's been so broad that like I was saying this before you got into the chat. Like, if I live in east side of Cleveland, like I live in a black neighborhood. So if my bike is getting stolen and I'm the only white person on my street and I've had 10 bikes stolen, all right, and I came out and said, well, black people steal my bike, I would get told, hey, you shouldn't say that. It was that one guy. That guy. Not all of us, but that black guy or those black guys. But in the opposite, when it comes to white folks, you're going to say, well, our families were targeted. Okay, you're right. But that was the Democrats. And that was Lyndon B. Johnson with welfare. That wasn't me. That wasn't Blake. That wasn't your average Joe. That was 1% that was like the 1% elite that fuck us too. So like there's just this false narrative that's painted with white folks, and this division this division that's within these chat rooms and this platform isn't going to benefit us as men. Because I just did a story a few months ago where a woman was married to a black man. She was black and she cheated on him, and she ran him over with a car and tried to kill him, spit in his face, hit him with the bumper. And when the police came, they didn't give him medical. They thought he was dead. They didn't give him medical attention. They put a sheet over him. She got charged with assault with a deadly weapon. She didn't get hit with attempted murder. And it wasn't a racial issue. It was a gender issue. The war on gender is way worse on us than it is the war against racism. Like, if you look at the crime statistics when it comes down to sentencing in prison, men, white or black, are going to get 6 times more time than their female counterpart, white or black. When it goes to white men and black men being sentenced on similar crimes or the same crime, our percentage or our times is closer together than it is for women versus men. Like, we're way more similar as men than we are against women. And we're not going to be able to benefit. Like, we're not going to be able to benefit as men if we don't work together against the war, because they're trying to feminize white men and black men. Like, they're putting a famous white pop singer on Vogue in a dress. Like, they're having rappers wear dresses. Like, the feminization of toxic masculinity on men is on both genders. They're trying to change little boys into being transgender. It's not so much race. Not saying that race is important or not important in society, but in the manosphere as a whole, it really isn't, because we're both getting fucked by the feminine, like, over women bending fucking we love the woman goddess in society today.
All right. So yeah, let me break a case down of what you're saying, and I think what the solution will be is more dialogue, more conversation. Maybe you could invite some black content creators on your show, have a point of view from both sides. Let's break down.
Most of the content creators, if you go look at my channels, most of the people that come on my platform are black.
No, I mean more
yeah.
the manosphere guys, kind of like MOT's one of them. But like I said, MOT is a little different in that he kind of like basically is now on. I don't know if you had a chance to really speak to him. He wants to kind of separation in mind for the black manosphere. You know, kind of like, and I agree. You know, there has to be a separation of people who are really serious about moving men forward and ones who are trying to hold people back. So I'm with him on that. You know, on that tip. But the Amber Geiger case is one I wanted to bring up real quick, and I wanted to bring it up for this specific reason. When she killed the guy, Botham Jean or whatever in Dallas, Texas, was that in Texas?
Amber Geiger. What? Refresh me on the case.
The one in the apartment where she thought he was in her apartment. She shot him.
Yeah.
And then, well, what happened with the aftermath was that the family forgave her, versus Derek Chauvin and George Floyd, where there's no forgiveness, or even the Ahmaud Arbery case where there's no forgiveness. There was another case Tommy did a few years ago where a woman cop shot a black man in I think it was in Utah somewhere like that, and there was no riots, there's no nothing. So I'm not pointing to race per se on this one. I'm pointing to more gender because whenever a woman does it, it's like, oh, forget everything and forgive. Forget everything and forgive. But if a white man does it, let's riot, let's break stuff down, let's do all of this. If you kind of understand what I'm saying, with the Amber Gallagher case, it wasn't even media coverage like that compared to these ones that we had this past year. You know what I'm saying? And even
Well, well,
I don't know that that's necessarily a good example. I mean,
how is it
I
not?
believe, I
When
believe the
the
she
Amber
was hung
Geiger
by the
case was kind of an instantaneous thing. I mean,
I'm not talking about the murder itself. I'm talking about the aftermath and everything that happened with that.
yeah.
I'm not talking about the case itself.
Well,
I'm
a
talking about
mistake's a whole lot easier. A mistake's a whole lot easier to forgive, regardless of whether it's a man or a woman commit it, than 10 minutes of your knee on somebody's neck. I mean,
I'm not, but they're not talking about the case. Me and you talked about this before, and I'm not going on that case thing. I'm not even trying to step on it. I'm talking about the aftermath of what happened. The aftermath of what happened was the family came and hugged her, forgave her. They
right.
didn't call it out crazy names. They didn't do anything. They didn't go to her house and do all this crazy stuff, dox her. They didn't do none of that. So that's an example of gender right there, where the
yeah,
gender overrides the race. That's one. That's one right there. Where that's what I'm trying to bring up. I'm not trying to bring back whether it's what you believe is wrong or right. That's not my opinion. That's not where I'm standing right here. I'm just standing that she's a female, so they look at it differently. They forgive her, but they don't forgive the others for who knows what happened that day, how they were feeling. They're human too, right? You know what I'm saying? They're human too. So people are commendable of mistakes. But a woman, she's the only one that's seen as, oh, she gets a mistake and we get to pat her on the back and forget like nothing happened. But the other ones, we remember their names. We remember Tommy mentions this guys a lot. The Mike Brown guy, the Mike Brown I forgot his name, but the one from Mike Brown, he mentions him a lot. Darren Wilson, we remember his name. We'll remember a whole lot of other people's names. Even the guy who killed his wife about last year in Utah, put him in the oil rig or something like that. We remember his name, but we don't remember the lady. I forget her name. That killed Casey Anthony. Is that the one?
Anthony. Yeah,
Casey Anthony killed it. The other guy, Chris Reed, I think his name is. We remember him because of the story that happened. He lied. He said somebody else did it. Come to find out, he was the one that put his kids in the oil rig. But Casey Anthony then buried a whole kid in the backyard, and we done forgot about her.
Centoya Brown's a good one.
Centonia Brown's another one. I got you on that one. Centonia Brown's another one. I had a fight and I lost my job behind this, and I know I lost my job behind this, where I told a woman, look, there's no way that she was being victimized if she shot somebody in the back of his head with his own gun. No way.
correct.
Hey, come on, man. Like, you know what
Would
I'm
she
saying?
would she serve like 13 years or something for premeditated murder?
It's a murder. And here's the other thing when you bringing up the feminization. I saw a documentary the other day where now these men who dress up as women want to live with the female prisoner because they feel it's safer there. There's no hard time in a female's prison. Female prisoners can get mad at me all they want. There's no there's none of that going on there. You go to jail in the men's jail, depending on where you at, you're gonna have to fight. And you might have to fight with your life.
Yeah, well, not even that, but even if it was crazy in a female prison, I have an advantage because I'm a fucking male. I've been a male
I'm
my
not
whole
talking
life,
about
so
me. I'm just talking about they feel
you know,
comfortable. Yeah, they feel comfortable because it's safe over there. Versus the men prison where it's not. They're treated horribly. Air condition is not working in the summertime. The heat's not working in the wintertime. They're not feeling comfortable. That's just there's a lot of that stuff going on. We just need more dialogue and to break it down in the best way possible. Now, for those black guys that you mentioned, a lot of those guys don't go outside. Let me keep it real with you. A lot of those guys don't go outside. They never go anywhere. They don't be around any people. And if they are, they're mainly around other people of their own race. You know what I'm saying? I'm 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 probably from the East Coast. I'm probably from the Northeast. I've been around Italians, Irish, you name it, Polish. you name it. But here's another thing that nobody mentions is that I can go to you, Savage Red Recovery, and I can ask you where you're from. You might tell me, hey, I'm from Ireland or Poland or wherever go back and you remember your history, right? So like a lot of these guys, they want to use that as a shield that they don't remember their history and don't want to look up their history against guys like yourself who come from somewhere. You might remember, hey, I'm Irish, or I'm Polish, or I'm from Welsh. I'm from one of these. I'm not born there. That's when my family emigrated from. So
But
like,
that's not the story for most white folks.
I know, but from the East
No,
Coast,
for me, like me myself personally, I'm a mutt. Like I don't know what percentage of my lineage. Like, so I know for a fact that I have my great grandmother was half black and half Indian. I have an English last name, and I also have if you look at my nose, this is an Irish trait. So I have Irish, English, Indian, Welsh, and black in me. I could obviously tell you that black is probably not the largest percentage of my genome, but I don't actually. I don't really know.
I see the waves right there, man. I see your waves right there, man.
Yeah, but I don't have enough of I don't white people. Like that's the other thing. White folks really don't have a culture. Like we are so mixed. Like if you go back in history, you had the Muslims that were pulling Europeans out of Europe and selling them in Africa as slaves. You had the Moors and the Muslims that were conquering Europe. Then from there you have the Europeans that came to America, and then they were mixing with the Indians, they were mixing with the French, they were mixing with other people that came. As a white person, we're so mixed that the only actual culture that we have is American culture, which is the exact same culture that anyone else grows up in here in America. We don't the only people that really in the white culture that has a real strong culture is Jews. If you're from people from Greece, people from Italy, those type of white folks are real close to their homeland. But the Irish, the English, the French, a lot of these people we don't have strong ties back to the motherland.
But even those, I mean, maybe with the exception of the Jewish one, which that's more culture tied to religion than anything. But the things that I've seen, like Scandinavian cultures, like in Iowa, the Swedes and the Norwegians and stuff like that, it's not even about white necessarily. It's just about food. It's just about traditions around holidays. It's just about getting together on Sunday afternoons. It's not. It has nothing to do with race necessarily. It's things that all races could identify with and implement within their own culture. It's just food. It's community. It's human.
You guys believe in perception? You guys believe in perception?
Believe in what?
Perception.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so
perception is what though?
No, but this perception in general. What I mean with what you guys are saying is how you guys put it out there. I can easily interpret what you guys are saying, but the guys who you have problems with in the chat rooms, they'll perceive it different. You know what I'm saying?
Of course,
they're gonna perceive it different because they don't understand that. They don't really understand. A lot of these guys, like I said, not to diss anybody, they don't go outside. If they do, they're around a certain amount of people, and they're raised by single mothers. These are guys raised by single mothers who keep it real. We have our own holidays called Kwanzaa this holiday season. Ask how many people who we were beefing with y'all celebrate Kwanzaa.
Well, do you know that Kwanzaa is a made-up holiday? It didn't start until
everything's a made-up holiday that we have. They've made up holidays just in terms of the length of how long they were. Like Thanksgiving was just made up. But
hey,
tradition.
I don't care if it's made up or not. If it's an excuse for families to get together and for people to be peaceful, it don't matter.
That's what I'm saying.
So Thanksgiving's a bad example
Oh,
because
I'm not
thank,
trying to put it as a defending example, but I'm just saying like Easter. You know, we celebrate Easter. There's not an official day of Easter. It just goes by whatever Sunday
yeah,
delegated
yeah,
by that. Or
yeah,
Valentine's
but
Day. We had a whole bunch of made up holidays. It's just a length. We have something that people can be proud of, you know, but they rather go celebrate Christmas than go celebrate Kwanzaa. You know what I'm saying? They're so what you're mentioning is more of an infatuation of what you may perceive as regular everyday life for y'all, but culture for others. You know what I'm saying? Like they perceive it as, oh, you guys are Iowa, Scandinavian culture. That's just food. They think of it as, oh, we don't have that stuff going on. You know, they're not
we
proud of
don't.
their own culture. Yeah. No, I'm not talking to what Mr. Blake said. I'm just saying, like, other people who you have problems with, the black content creators or black chat room people, they're not proud of their culture. You get what I'm saying? They're not proud of themselves. I'm proud of
Well,
myself. I'm a proud
what?
black man.
So what's the idea behind Kwanzaa? I mean, I don't.
I don't
I don't.
Kwanzaa, I'm like I said, I'm African, but when I heard about Kwanzaa, I was like, you guys have your own holiday that even Native Americans don't even have their own holiday. And they were the first ones here. Native Americans don't even have their own holiday where, you know, unless it's celebrated within their culture. I'm talking about put out to the media where, you know, at least some person of another race will know about your holiday. There's no Native American holiday. There's no Chinese holiday.
I guess what I'm
Chinese,
getting.
yeah. Go ahead.
I
I'm
guess what
sorry.
I'm getting at is the idea behind Christmas, and I'm not even religious, but the idea behind Christmas is a whole lot of things. It's
Mhm.
about giving and family and helping people in a time of need. You know,
That's
That's what's
not.
presented to us. That's what's presented to us.
Yeah, that's not necessarily true. That like
well, I mean,
a lot of
yeah,
the holidays that we listen, a lot of the holidays that we celebrate here in America are pagan holidays that go back thousands of years, and we're just redoing pagan holidays. They're really not even our like they're not even white people's holidays. They're Jews. Like it's not really our holiday. But
Mhm.
what I'm saying is you've got like you've had this like in 1963 before the civil rights movement, if you wanted to make like a pro-black or a civil rights problem, like there was a problem, we need to fix it. Completely understand, completely agree. But in 2020, it's gone to the point where it's like feminism. Okay, so in 1919, when the women couldn't vote, they were like, we're gonna we want the right to vote, and they were like, cool, we're gonna give you the right to vote. Then when you go to the 60s and they're burning bras and they want to have credit cards and stuff, you're like, cool, got you, understand. But now in 2020, it's to the point where you can't open a door for a woman or that's oppression. Like it's getting to the point where we're running out of things to fix.
Yeah.
Like for example, uh, there was just I give you the perfect example. So did you see the interview where they asked Jake Paul if him punching out that black fighter was racist?
Yeah. And
yeah.
yeah.
I don't think they were
Go
being
ahead. Go
serious
ahead.
about it.
Say your piece. I'm gonna say my piece right after y'all too.
So what I'm saying is we've gotten to in 2020, we've came to a point where a lot of the big issues, like the big issues with like oppression of women, with racism, is gone to a point where it's so overused that it's starting to water down real things. It's just like
That's the
when
whole
people
point.
make
Mhm.
when people make false allegations in rape,
Yeah,
it's diluting rape.
uh-huh. That to me was the whole point of them doing that. And with that Jamel Hill and is it Carrie Chapman that was interviewing him too?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
champion. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the problem: they put females to do it, and who's going to get a rise out of men who are black, other than a black woman going there? Oh, you get not yeah racist. But we forgot to add out the part where the baby and little baby and all those other guys was hanging out with Jake Paul, laughing at Nate Robinson. We don't mention that part prior where the black rappers were making fun of Nate Robinson for getting knocked out. So how is it racist if at the same point that Jake Paul's hanging out with the baby, little baby, whoever the hot rapper was at the moment, laughing at him knocking out another black man. It knows the whole point. It knows it and voids it. So when a lot of people get outraged, I'm like, just look at all the prior content before. You know it's bull. You know it's bull. They just try to, sensationalize it and make it more than what it is.
So do you know why I think they had those women ass shake that though?
Because it's nothing more to get an outrage out of people than to put a woman behind it. Look what they
because you
did.
can't criticize them.
You can't credit exactly, and look what they did to my man Brett Kavanaugh. Look, man, listen. When you got BWs protecting the victim who was a white woman, you knew something was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to diss race or nothing, but I'm black and I can tell you that that was bull. Because when I saw that they were defending her, saying, "Oh, believe her over Brett Kavanaugh," and I said, Brett Kavanaugh is from Maryland, went to a high school, in one of the best schools in the area, was if he wanted to, could have any decent woman he wanted, and then this woman comes over there and tries to say, oh, that he raped, and a bunch of women believe her, and then the ones that are pushing it the most from our side are the black women. I said, no, that's bold. This racism thing is just to bait and switch people, and they always use the woman to push it, just like they did with feminism on your end. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then and our end as well too. They always use the women to push that mantra out, and that's what happens. So I
So
think
I honestly think the reason that this is what I honestly think why they used those women. I think it was to help push the agenda of emasculating a black man. I think that's what that was. By them clowning him for getting knocked out, it was a double. It got to hit the racist narrative, and it also got to clown a black man.
I agree. I agree because they did a little laugh after that. They did a little haha, you know, right after they asked him that question.
Hey, fellas, I'm going to say this piece and then I'm going to get out of here. Okay.
I'll
I
get out
looked,
too.
so I looked it up. Kwanzaa is an annual celebration of African American culture that is held from December 26th to January 1st. Originally celebrated first in 1966. My point about the traditions of the holidays, obviously Christianity and Jesus originated in the Middle East. It's not white by any stretch of the imagination, but the idea behind the holidays is removed from race. Kwanzaa is obviously not. And I want to throw out one other thing before I head out. I didn't know this a long time ago, but Ethiopia has a huge Christianity sect, like 30 something million people. And, you know, I don't know why we would hold on to Kwanzaa when it's racially tied and we couldn't just get behind the idea of family and food and laughs and games and all that kind of stuff at Christmas.
No, I
Anyway,
agree, but I also agree on that we do have to have our own separate forms of how we do things. And then if we are like-minded, or say you do marry somebody who is of different race, they do understand your culture. You know what I'm saying? Because that to say that we will have to get rid of Chinese New Year. That's
but what I'm
specific for the
what I'm
Chinese.
saying is how does it benefit anybody to have racial culture?
It's called Chinese
Do,
New Year. It's called
do,
Chinese New Year. It's called Chinatown. It's called Little Italy. We have everything that's a little bit racial out here. But the difference is that we try to include everybody into it when people don't want people in their certain group. You know what I'm saying? Like when feminism happened, they included them into our workforce and put people into a job that weren't qualified and took jobs away from men that were qualified.
well, under Jim Crow, segregation was bad because the government did it, and it seems like what Savage is getting at is it seems like we're going to end up in segregation along a whole bunch of different lines, not just in YouTube, at,
I
at the
I, I doubt it.
at the request and the action of black people.
I doubt it because right now me and Savage are talking right now, so I can
No,
me.
we weren't talking about you specifically. We're talking
No,
about
no, I'm
YouTube
just
and the
talking about
culture
not
and
me
where it's
specifically.
headed.
I'm just saying if segregation is gonna happen, we wouldn't be having these conversations that we're having right now. Like MOT just came on there. The thing is that men are starting to speak up more. And I think what's going to happen is the opposite of what you're thinking. I think men are going to link up more because now we're starting to see the BS. There was a video of a white woman who lambasted Kevin Samuels that came on, and guess who propped it up? BW's propped it up because BW
Yeah.
saw it as a point to diss Kevin Samuels and use a white woman to good. So now, and they're trying to find a white man to diss Kevin Samuels, but white men even agree with Kevin Samuels because, like Savage said, he didn't put any racial lines on there. So people will see the difference and start following Kevin Samuels and him building a bigger fan base. Because trust me, when he's talking, yeah, he's talking to black women on the phone, but when he's speaking, it's for all women, no matter what race you are. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Asian, Filipino. It don't matter.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So how do you feel? How what is your feelings about that white woman talking about Kevin Samuels?
Well, I felt this way. I felt it was gonna happen eventually, and it comes with the territory. You know, that's when I know he made it. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say it like that, but I knew, I knew he made it because I was like, if you got them talking about it, and now other women are noticing it, that's gonna help guys like in your situation out too, because now we see the BS that's coming out from white women now too. And black men are seeing this. See, black men don't see the BS coming from white women too much often because, like, you know, we're not in long term relationships with them, kind of like you guys are, correct? We're not. I got a white baby mother, but that's the most I can go with. You know what I'm saying? And even that wasn't even a long relationship. So I got a 13-year-old son off that. but I can't even say like a long term, but it's starting to be seen. It's starting to be seen that, black men are making moves with other races of men. It's trouble when you start seeing the China man agreeing with and I said China man, the Asian man agreeing with Kevin Samuels in a few years, it'll be a problem.
Well, so this is like okay, so my son is mixed. My first baby mom, because I have two baby moms. My first baby mom is black, and my second baby mom is white.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have had a third baby mom who was Hispanic, but that's another story.
Mm-hmm.
But so like a lot of the times when you're in these spaces and you're hearing like the people in the chat talking about white people and like when they're talking about like when they're talking about like white women or when white women date when white women or just interracial or just white women in general. So that attitude and that bullshit that black men don't like about black women, white women are doing the same shit. Like they have an attitude. They feel just as entitled as black women do about acting however the fuck they want. Like feminism has affected the women in this country altogether. Listen, my mom, all right. My mom can't have children. She's in her 50s. All right. She's well past being able to give birth to children. My mom went to go buy some Starbucks or something. And I told her I don't drink Starbucks because they donate to abortion. And like her having a son who's like my my Hispanic or Latin baby mom, she ended up having an abortion. So like in that certain situation, my mom's hive mind could not she couldn't override the programming of siding with the woman with pro-choice. Like feminism is affecting white women too. Like
Also, already know. You heard about that case in Texas with the transgender child and the mother and the father going at it. I don't know if you did that story with that transgender kid. Like the father was trying to fight for custody, so his son couldn't be what's the procedure to fully go all the way, if you get what I'm saying.
yeah.
And there was a white guy. And I said, to be honest, you guys do go through a lot of stuff. And I don't mean you guys like it's a racial term, but you know what I'm saying? Like you guys do go through a lot of stuff. I'm from I lived in upstate New York. I've seen it. I've seen it a lot. I've seen girlfriends cheat on guys, lie, have them fight each other, put them in child support court, call them a deadbeat. and everything else. It's a systematic divide, but I'm pretty optimistic that it's about to change soon.
So, I live in Cleveland, Ohio, and like I said, I live in the hood, and my kid's mom has three baby daddies with three different has three kids, three baby daddies, and like I'm the only one that's on child support. Like I'm the only one, and like the only difference
One, two.
between the only difference between me and or only difference between my son's mom and my daughter's mom is that my white baby mom says that I ain't shit or gets mad at me and says I don't see my daughter enough, and then when my son's mom gets mad, she tells me I work too much. I don't see my kid enough. I'm a piece of shit. But the one thing that my black baby mom can say that's different than my white baby mom is she can call me a racist. Like she's got mad at me and called me a racist. But that's the only difference. Like the only difference between having a white baby mom or a black baby mom is one can call me a racist
I'm
and have
about, I'm
and
about to
like
get I'm about to get my fellow black manosphere mad by asking this question. After she called you a racist, did she polish you off, so to speak?
no.
Oh, okay. they'll get mad. Oh man, how dare you ask that question?
No, like so both my kids' moms like they both be trying to be a little too friendly, and that's not happening. I learned that mistake when I in the beginning. But like the whole reason like I don't really have a like listen, I don't have a problem with with people not liking white people. Like I don't like it doesn't matter. But I just don't think that it's beneficial to I don't think it's beneficial to the manosphere for we to segregate shit by race because it's not going to benefit anybody. It's like it's not going to help us get our shit. It's the whole crab in the barrel thing. Like I feel like the colorism argument in the black community is the same idea. It's just an argument within the community to separate people in the community. So you have black women and black men, and then you already have the divide between men and women. Then you top it off, you have a colorism argument in it. Now you're separating those two groups into more groups. It's hard to do anything when you have six groups of 40 million people.
Yeah, man. Hold on. Let me find that colorism argument real quick. That colorism argument is BS. Is very much BS. Some of the most successful women. This is what I say. What a lot of the media does. They BS, pretend like we don't have eyes and ears. Um, Viola Davis, correct? How to Get
I've
Away
heard the
with
name.
Murder, all that stuff, right?
What's that?
How to Get Away with Murder,
Yeah.
uh, all that stuff. If colorism existed, we wouldn't have a Viola Davis. Colorism existed, we wouldn't have a Precious or whatever her name is. We wouldn't have a Bria Miles. We wouldn't have all these things out here. And you guys have it on your same side too with redheads. I remember as young, I'm born in '83. I remember hearing the whole redhead ginger argument. I remember hearing that and how, oh, if you were ginger and whatever reason, and I didn't understand it because I'm not white. So if you're ginger, you're treated this way. If you don't have the blonde hair, blue eyes, you're treated this way. If you're a brunette, you're this way. You know what I'm saying?
That like yeah, like don't get me wrong, we make fun of gingers. Like one of my girlfriends I was with for like 8 years is a ginger, and I used to tell her all the time that she had no soul. So they- they're from South Park, but we do make fun we do make fun of each other, but
And
like
that's what I'm trying to say too. These colorists, they don't go outside. I used to have a girl make fun of. We used to call her Black Hito. We used to call her Black Hito because she was so. We were like at the time it was so dark. We were just joking with her, and this girl ended up becoming something good in life. She's not gonna come back and say, "Oh, we bring colorisms, colorists." We weren't doing that. We used to say, we used to diss on each other. If you were light skin, we were soft. We used to say that. It was just joking around. It wasn't malicious or nothing like that. But the media tries to make something that we do as an everyday pastime be wrong, and we can't joke with each other. I miss the '70s. I didn't grow up in the '70s, but watching the shows, I mean, look at Archie Bunker and George Jefferson. Look how them two went at each other. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, they shook hands. You know.
Well, do you know what makes me laugh?
Mhm.
Okay, so whenever you're in a white guy in a mostly black space,
Mhm.
all right, the first thing that you get called is white boy. All right.
Okay.
Or cracker or honky or any of those slurs. But like as a white person, those don't affect us. Those aren't like derogatory terms to us. Like we know that it's meant in a derogatory term, but we don't care. Like it's not like I've literally been in like chats and someone called me like a Brad or a Chad or something, and I said, well, if I'm Brad, does that make you Tyrone? And like one of the dudes in the comments told me I need to watch my mouth, and I was like, dude, like then don't call me Brad. Like my name's Kyle.
You got my lady laughing. You got my lady laughing right now for that comment, real quick. So you had to laugh.
Like, you know. Well, that's the thing. Like, if you don't want me to give you shit, don't give me shit. And then they'll be like, "All right, whatever, honky." It's like, I get it. I'm white. I look in the mirror every day. Like, I get it. I know. Like, I don't.
The main thing that this time has taken away from us is comedy. It used to bring everybody together. George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder. Those guys were raw back then. You. It wouldn't matter what you was or who you was. They made fun of you. We lost those days because we worried too much about our for men, we worry too much about our ego. And if somebody disses us real quick, we might not have a joke to respond back to that person. So then we'll come up, oh, you better not say that no more, because that Tyrone joke, that was a good comeback. I ain't gonna lie, that was a good comeback.
Yeah.
And like, somebody was like, oh, so I can't come back off that, so then you can't say that no more. You're racist. Then they throw, you ever play soccer? They throw the red card out there. They just throw the red card. Oh, man,
Yeah.
damn, I had a good play, and then you throw the red card at me. That's what they do.
Well, this is what's funny. So like clearly, I'm clearly not your suburban white kid. Like I clearly am not that guy, and so back before. Okay, I've been sober 6 years. So before, this is the other argument. So like when it comes to having a fucked up life or being a fuck up and fixing your life, I literally went from living in projects and being a fuck up and catching mass amounts of charges. Like I got like over 30 arrests in one county. Now they were all petty ass shit. Like it wasn't anything, like it wasn't 30 felonies, but I have a record and I have face tats. Like I don't like if a woman brings me to her dad, she has daddy issues, like clearly a woman that doesn't have low self-esteem is not like if you have low self-esteem, she's not interested in me. Like she looks past me. But if she has daddy issues,
unless her daddy's a biker, you're good.
Yeah, but even still, even if her daddy's a biker, she's still got daddy issues. And if her daddy's not around, then she if a woman has daddy issues, they like me. Like that's just a fact. But like a lot of the time, I literally I changed my life. I went from being a criminal and facing I've almost done 12 2 times. I got big double digit charges where I could have been doing either 12 to 20 or 25 years 2 times, and I got off on it on using the law. But now I'm an electrician. And the only difference between that time period was instead of being a victim, because when I was committing crimes and I get pulled over by the police, it wasn't that I was committing crimes, is that I left my house at the wrong time. If I would have went down a different street, I wouldn't have came across the police. If I wouldn't have done that, they wouldn't have caught me. But when I started taking accountability for my actions is when my life changed. And like the process of going from a criminal to getting sober to now, it was my mindset that changed. So
Let me ask you this
like
one question. It's your story. I don't mean to interrupt.
yeah.
You ever seen The Departed with with Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Martin Sheen, all those guys? You ever seen that movie? The Departed, based on Whitey Bulger.
Yes.
You seen
Yes.
that part where Frank Costello's talking, and he basically says these guys, basically the black people, we just sit and complain, da da da, and we don't take it. We have to take it. You know what I'm saying? So with your situation, it seems like you took accountability. Everything you just said took. You took accountability. You took an opportunity, took advantage of the opportunity, and went to that next level. You didn't sit down and complain. You know what I'm saying? And I think once a lot of us take advantage of the opportunity, kind of like how you did, because there's plenty of people like yourself that's done just like you have. You know what I'm saying? Made a better position of the situation they're in, and they just had to take it. A lot of these guys who are against you, or maybe against guys like yourself and guys of Caucasian race, who are just coming in to be have similar situations, is trying to bring dialogue, conversation. These guys seem to not want to take advantage of what's in front of them. Because you said something key earlier, where we can't get it done by ourselves.
We can't.
Can't, you know what I'm saying? So everything, if you're gonna take, that's a perfect advantage. If I see you on here and you're from Ohio, you could be putting on for people in Ohio that don't know. I got family in Ohio. I got family in Dayton and Cincinnati. And like they might not know the laws. And me talking to you right now could put them onto new laws because they're going through child support. You know what I'm saying? So I burnt one bridge because of race. That's crazy. I burnt a bridge. It could have been a business bridge. It could have been a personal bridge. Any type of bridge to build because of race. Because of something
Well,
that's perception.
well, yeah. Well, here's the other thing. So like this is my favorite part. So like I was watching. I don't know if I mentioned it while you were on, but I was watching a video where they were talking about how interracial couples, like interracial couples, and if you have set if you breed with white people, they're whitewashing your culture, and then the mixed child isn't going to know about their black roots and isn't going to learn from their people and shit like that. And I literally all the people that were talking don't have mixed kids, so like they don't like, you're just speculating. And I was like, well, I have mixed kids, and that's not how it works. Like, as long as you have both parents in the kid's life, then the kid's going to get taught from both sides. As
Man, we
long as both parents can see the kid.
Yeah, man, we had one of the biggest pro blacks ever that was a mixed guy. But he was a liar though. His name was Juicy Smollett. He was
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? He's one of the biggest pro blacks ever, Juicy Smollett. And he was basically raised by a white father and a black mother, if I'm correct. We have Colin Kaepernick. He wasn't raised by black people per se, but he does have at least a black parent and a white parent. He has Zendaya, another one who's very pro-black recently, who has I think, a black father and a white mother. We have so many of those instances that we don't have an opposite where a kid can say, "Hey, I was raised by white people. I'm not white per se, but I'm proud to be around my white people." Always the mixed kids have to go to the black side, and that will be another good conversation for you to have later on as to why that happens from your point of view. From your point of view, and maybe a guy, maybe like a Blake or someone of those guys, because I think what it is too is your point of view has to be spoken more on your side. You know what I'm saying? So people can understand it. And I think that's what's happening. Ever since your channel came on, I've seen a lot of people. We had me and talk before. We had a Spanish brother from New York talking one time. We just had MOT talking. So the dialogue is there, man. It is. it's just this belief that mixed kids aren't proud to be black. I said, man, you must not know Juicy Smollett. Then he was
Well,
so pro black, he fought over a Subway sandwich at 2 o'clock in the morning.
so here's the issue. Here's the issue with people that are mixed. All right. So people that are mixed, you have black people telling mixed people that white people don't like them. You have other black people telling black people that white people don't like you. And then you end up having to where like when you were a kid going to school, if you spoke in proper English, you didn't use slang, or you worked hard in school, they said you were trying to be white. Like there is a negative connotation in the black community to be white. And then when you top it off, all the people that are mixed that are super pro black, like Kaepernick was raised by a white family. All his family's white, but he's one of the biggest pro black people that we've seen in the last few years. Like, it's not cool to be white. Like you have white people that are faking being black to get privileges. You have Elizabeth Warren who pretend to be an Indian to get special privileges. Like it's way cooler to be black than it is to be white. It just is.
Let me ask you this one question. When you said the proud thing, I'm gonna ask you a question with that. There's always a negative connotation of white people being proud, and if they are, they're KKK. And I wonder where that really came from, that mindset, because like I watched a guy called Dear Me for Dinner. I don't know if you heard that guy. He does hunting, cook, catch, clean, into his family. Man, one of the best video content guys I could watch right now. Very positive, and he won't say it, but from what I get, he's proud to be a white man. He's proud to have his white family. He's proud to have his white kids. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong if you're proud to be who you want to be with. I think what the media is always trying to do is include everybody into it when we don't want to be included into it. We might have like minds. We might have, like minds on child support. But at the end of the day, you got your family to go home to. I got my family to go home to. And then there's people that interracially date. There's people that do that as well. And then you had the whole culture clash going on with that one too, because of what the media has presented over the years, which is, a big time culture clash. You mentioned that earlier with your child's mother, that she, threw the R word at you and everything else because that was the cool thing to do against. It's the red card, kind of like play like they'll do with that with you.
Well, that's mainly that's because she's a woman and she's mad, so she's gonna say whatever she thinks is gonna affect me. That really isn't a. That it really isn't.
No, I get that, but a lot of people usually do that to discredit a voice that's not going along with the program. That's white. You know what I'm saying? They'll throw the R word out there, like,
we had sex at one point, so like it's just like her calling me a racist is like her saying I have a little dick. Like it's just because she thinks it's gonna hurt my ego.
I'm like, come on, man. Look, you like my man Savage Red Recovery back then. It nothing changed back then. Now, you know what I'm saying? You're still the same person then that you was when you first met her. Like, I don't understand that whole talk with a lot of these people, man. These people just talk crazy, and and now what kills me is that the white people are now telling people what's racist. And I'm like, you're like the liberal. I'm not gonna say the party, but I'll say the opposite of the right hand are saying that, oh, this is racist, that's racist, this is racist, that's racist. How is that racist to somebody that you don't know? Everybody has their discernment of what's racist and what's not, but they're trying to get in the party now. And what you're saying is cool to be black. The opposite of the right hand is now saying, oh, well, it's cool to call somebody who's our own skin tone or maybe come from our same family racist. I think Kellyanne Conway's daughter just turned her back on her own mother because she was supporting 45. This is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is what's going on right now because, like, it's like if you're proud to be white, it's like you're KKK. You can't be anything else but that. But we see other point examples like Dear Me for Dinner. I could see a white family that's suburban. They're just happy to be together. What's wrong with that? Why does it have to be some kind of racial thing all the time? I'm sure when you see black people, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
See, I really think that being proud about your race is stupid. I don't think that race is like literally needs to be that important.
Yeah,
Like
and my mistake, my mistake. Let me fix that up.
no,
Like
you're fine.
yeah,
I'm not saying that you're implying anything. I'm just saying me as a person. I don't like I like women. I don't really give a fuck what color they
nah,
are.
a lot of guys
Like,
I
you
put it
know,
like this. All the pro black guys that say they'll never do a white woman, I say put a white woman with some
they
nice
lie.
breasts and a nice butt, and they'll hit it, and they won't tell nobody. Now, if she look good, they'll tell everybody. But like a lot of these guys who a lot of guys who go interracial, I was a victim as well. We went out with fat chicks, you know what I'm saying? But we did get a good number of good looking Caucasian women, but got a lot of obese women too. And ain't
Let's be
nothing wrong
honest.
with that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that. What you
Let's
say?
be honest. Let's be honest. Sometimes, it's been a while. The farther you get from the last time, the thirstier you get. Doesn't matter what color they are. It doesn't matter how big they are. As long as you can slide in and slide out, that's all that
And that's what
matters.
I'm trying to say. A lot of they'll throw a lot and to be you gotta admit this too. White guys will say, "Oh, us black guys go out with fat white women." Okay,
I
granted,
don't.
that's fine. We go out with fat women regardless. It don't matter. We was the ones to make it cool to go out with fat women. You know what I'm saying? In a bigger contest, like everybody was like, "Oh yeah, big chicks ain't cool." Yeah, we know that. We proud of that. There's nothing wrong with that.
So to be honest with you, I honestly think that. So I think the whole black men going out with fat white women. I think that's more of a black woman talking point to just talk shit to black men.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
honestly,
I know, I agree, but there is white guys that do throw that out there though. Like
yeah,
there are just like there are the other side of what you're mentioning too. There's a lot. I'm not gonna say there's a lot, but there's white guys just like there's black guys who do what you're mentioning. Oh, they a sister will do this and all that.
like don't get me wrong. Like I'm sure that stereotype comes from somewhere. Like I'm sure that it's based in some sort of truth,
Mhm.
but I've never like listen. A lot of the shit that I hear in these I hear black people say about white people.
Mhm.
I don't really, I don't really I haven't seen it. Like literally, like I like to be honest with you, I like so a lot of the times when black folks talk about white men fucking black women, they talk about how they're bed wenches and like they're not shit. Like white men don't see black women as anything. But like I can tell you, Friday, a guy I worked with, I work for the local 38 union in Cleveland as an electrician, and one of the guys is like 22, 23, and he was so proud that he was dating a black girl because in his mind you actually have to have some sort of game. Like you can't just be a douche, like a piece of shit douchebag to be able to get the attention of a black woman. So like a lot of the times that like I see like white dudes from the suburbs that end up dating black women, it's more of like it's more of like uh they see it in a beneficial light. Like they see it in a good way. It's not a negative context. But anytime that you hear black folks talking about white dudes dating black women, it's usually in a negative way. And like in my, even though it's anecdotal, like I've never
Nah,
seen it. Just like I've
I,
never
I've
seen
I've
anyone.
seen I've seen exactly what you're talking about. I've seen exactly what you're talking about, and a lot of guys who say those things, they don't like me. My first experience with abundance of white people was when I went to upstate for my first year of college. Like I'm from the inner city of New York. Like I've never been around And if they were, they never explicitly told us, they're white. We never knew. But like when you've been around them, you're like, man, that's not true. Like that's not even true. Like, now maybe this new thing going on, I don't know. But basically that's coming from that swirling argument that we talked about earlier, where they're hearing that from women. You know what I'm saying? They're hearing that from women. And at the end of the day, we want to date women. So they're hearing these women talking about, oh, well, drop the whole black girl act. You want to date a white guy. And you're like, damn, like that'll make you feel like you some ish. You know what I'm saying? That'll make you feel like you some crap. So damn, well, and that's not coming from y'all. That's not coming from y'all. That's not coming from y'all. That's coming from the women. Just like the white woman will say, "Oh, those guys have big, whatever." Even though, like, I haven't heard white women say that in person. I've never heard them say that. But like, that's a little play they like to play. And I'm like, man, look, if you want to be described by sex, you can't get mad that that's all you describe by. If if that's what you're known as, you can't then go at the guy who's coming in the chat room because you weren't talking shit. No, not like we had a gentleman that came in about a few months ago. I don't know if you heard about it on Jessica X channel.
Yeah, I
And
came in like that day or the next day.
yeah, that caused an uproar, and I was like, man, look, we looking bad out here because it's like 10 of us on one guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's not even bringing that heat out there. So like, I saw how it went. It was contentious. He said some things, they said some things, and I was like, man, at the end of the day, what do we get out of it? We didn't get no new relationships out of it to put us to the forefront of nothing. Because at the end of the day, YouTube is for exposure. So you just killed your exposure by this guy coming in, and he came in through Tommy Sotomayor, if I'm correct, right? Because that was the big uproar, was that Jessica X was on Tommy Sotomayor's show, or Tommy
I
dropped the third, right?
I think he did. I,
Yeah,
I and I think it was that German guy. If I
yeah,
remember correctly, it's the guy that's always talking about Germany.
yeah. He looks like, I ain't gonna lie, he look like Dirk Nowitzki, straight up Dirk Nowitzki. He looks like Dirk Nowitzki off top, but like, but when that came on, and I was like, these guys are challenging the intelligence thing, and I said, if you guys at one point don't believe in the IQ test, why are you mad that then he's bringing it up and then going at him 10-1? Let it be a one-on-one, which one gentleman was doing. Shout out to Zero. That's my man. He did a one-on-one with him, and they had a good debate. But other guys kept trying to jump in, and it was like, you're looking crazy out here. You're looking crazy out here. You're not building nothing, and I think with you, like, you're just trying to build. Am I correct?
Yeah, well, see, the thing of it is my son's mixed. Like when you look at him, he doesn't look like me. So whatever, like the whole purpose of being a father is to make your kid, like, to prepare your children for when you're not on earth any longer. And if you ain't able to do that, then you fail. And raising my kid as being mixed and sending him out into the world where you have black and white relations are not good, and you have like mixed people getting shit talked because they're not white, they're not black, but they're both. Like, I, even though that I'm white, I have to in some way try to change what's going on because that directly affects my son. Like,
That's being a man. That's being a man. You trying to fix that situation. Like I said, man, we're not growing up in 1960 no more. We're in 2020. You know, people are dating outside their race more than ever. To still have that mindset is crazy. I mean, I might joke with it on the women's side. We'll talk our own ish. The women and the guys, they'll talk their own ish within our own circle. But like, for it to be man versus man, and you not coming that way, and you got a mixed son, like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know your lifestyle. They don't know nothing about you. That's like, they'll talk to like, me being African. Oh, they don't. You guys don't understand what our family been in this soul for years. I'm like, cool, I got you, but you haven't been in this soul for centuries. You can't just speak for everybody else. I was born here. This is the only place I know. This is the only place I've been. Well, I was born here. I was born in Jacoby Hospital, knocked down. I've been there almost 40 years of my life. Like, this is the only country I know. So the only culture I'm raised in is American. So like, trust me, not to your level that I get it, but like we get that in there because it's a fierce sector in that manosphere. It's fierce. You know, some of us are cool. We're really cool with each other. Then you got some that goes a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say no names, but there's a lot of guys that go crazy out there. There's a lot of guys that I had beef with before online, but the beef wasn't like I'm gonna go see you, but like we had a disagreement, and then now we're cool. I think what's needed on your end is to have more dialogue. You have MOT on there. I would reach out to him and have him bring you on the show to talk to these guys one on one.
So MOT I just seen today. I don't even know who told him to. He told me someone told him to look at my channel. So I don't know.
That was me.
Yeah. Okay.
I sent him over to you.
Yeah, MOT's good peoples, man. He's good peoples. Very good peoples. Very fair platform, in my opinion. I think he'll. I think he'll. I think to at least alleviate it or have an understanding is for you to go on that channel and talk to those guys directly, and I mean one on one, not no 10-on-1 type shit, none of that.
What channel?
Well, he's not. Well, he wouldn't do that anyway because he's got a habit of people coming up there with fuckery. He drops them down in a heartbeat. You know that.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So, but his channel is Man of Tomorrow. That's what MOT stands for. As a matter of fact, he's streaming now. I was just on the panel and I got off because I promised I'd come back over here to see you. But if you want, I can put the channel in the chat so you can get it if you want.
For sure.
Okay. But yeah, I sent him over there. We were having a conversation on the phone, and I happened to look up, and you popped up in my subscriptions. And I was like, there's my man. And then he started asking me about you. And I mean, literally in the middle of the conversation, he went straight and subscribed right out the gate. So that's how you got him.
That's what's up. Where you from, Mr. Guy? You from the East Coast, West Coast, South, Midwest?
I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, but I'm in Florida. But I'm in Florida now. So.
Oh, you from Brooklyn? What part of Brooklyn?
Bed-Stuy, do or die.
Oh man, I'm from the BX, man. I'm from Soundview section, right by Bronx, right by the Bronx River, man. Right by Hunts Point, man.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, that's my story. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
Let me ask you a quick question, real quick, man.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second for me, Mr. A. Do you see a Savage
in the chat?
Yeah.
Or the private? I don't see anything.
Oh, I put it. I'm sorry. I put it in the chat. I didn't put it in private.
Yeah, I don't see it.
All right, check the private. It should be there.
Okay, I see the private.
Okay, cool. And I'm sorry about that. Mr.
A. You good, my man. Let me ask you this quick question.
Yeah,
You've been from New York, kind of northeast melting pot, and you're obviously part of the manosphere. Do you think there's a little bit of a difference in terms of the region, in terms of black men like ourselves? We kind of see things differently than other guys in different places. And I'm not knocking nobody to that nature. I don't want them to take it that way, but I see a lot more of the what Savage is talking about coming from guys. I don't know if they're from outside of the Northeast Central or California or anywhere where it's a melting pot. Do you think that's coming outside of those guys? That's from those melting pot areas of where black people are, like New York, LA, Chicago, kind of those places.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean by coming outside of those guys? Are you talking about them being influenced by the environment, or?
No, like Savage says, like when he goes in the chat, that they'll have some derogatory words towards him.
Yes, I've seen that.
So like because like they're a lot of guys, in my opinion, a lot of guys are not really outside in the world to have different experiences. And in New York, you're kind of forced to have a different experience. Even if you don't even go anywhere, you're right there with Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, and depending on where you're from, white folk as well. So like you don't have a choice. You have to intermingle with everybody to have a good experience in New York City.
Yes, you do. That's true.
So,
That is true.
so
So
with other people from other places, let's say the Midwest. I have a cousin in the Midwest. He says it's pretty racial down there. I don't know. I never lived in the Midwest. I don't know how it was like. I never lived down south. I don't know how it was like. Right now I'm in Maryland. It's really kind of the South, but not the South. But it's a little bit of a different attitude here compared to New York. Do you think that's an influential factor that's going on? What Savage is talking about?
Uh, yeah, I do. I do. I've lived in every state in this country except for two. That's North and South Dakota.
Hmm. Okay.
And I have I have noticed significant differences, not just in black people, but in white people, depending on the region you're in. So yeah, my answer would be a yes. It does make a difference in my experience. Where is that sufficient, or were you looking for something a bit more detailed in the response?
Oh,
so
I'm sorry. My mic is muted. I'm sorry. It's not about being sufficient. That's your answer, man. And I totally agree with you. On that point. I was just listening. My apologies. On that one. I just was thinking maybe someone who's from that area might have the same kind of thought process or kind of way of thinking like that. And I thought I was probably not the only one that thought that.
No,
Kind of,
no.
yeah.
I mean, we still have our problems in New York, but for the most part, like you said, we have no choice. If you're in Brooklyn, it's black. Yeah, I mean, it just depends. Like if like I'm in Bed Stuy, I might have a kid I go to school with, but he lives in Crown Heights. So now you're over there in the Jewish section. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you got to go to work in Manhattan. Now you're seeing white, Asian, Spanish. Maybe you like Chinese food. You hang out in Chinatown all the time. Maybe you like Italian food. You're over in Little Italy. We had no choice. As a matter of fact, out of all the places in the city, and I think you'll agree, the one place where it was literally everybody in the same spot would be the Village
Oh, that's a
around
fact.
around West Fourth Street. You know what I'm saying? West Fourth Street all the way up to maybe 23rd Street, but the Village was the spot. Everybody and their grandmother was there. It didn't make a difference if it was racial color, gender stereotypes, whatever have you made, straight, gay, black, white, young, old. New York, you didn't have much of a choice because it was
That's
such a small space. We had to do it.
that's a fact. One more question. One more question, Mr. Recovery, real quick.
yeah.
With coronavirus and these lockdowns and people, basically staying home, not going out as much as they used to. Do you think with what you're going through in those chat rooms and what you're mentioning is a result of that? Because a lot of people are home and they see this media coverage going on, being influenced by the media coverage that's going on. Do you think that's a factor?
Well, I do, but I also think that I think the black community as a whole is affected easily by their emotions. And I also feel that black people have had black leaders in the community pushing racism and racist bullshit for so long that I really think that I really think that the black community is the most brainwashed communities in the United States. And the argument that I'm going to give you for this is this right here. There's a famous interview of them asking Muhammad Ali, "Why did you change your name?" Muhammad Ali said, "Cassius Clay was the slave owner's name, and I would rather have a name that was more like my people." All right. So with that being said, Cassius Clay was a white man that bought black slaves and freed them. He also spent his money to build schools for black children in Kentucky. He also was had multiple attempts on his life because he was trying to give black people a better life in Kentucky. Muhammad became rich from slaves. In the Quran, it says that Muhammad had white shins, that he had white armpits. During the time of Muhammad, if you said that Muhammad was black, you were put to death. It was punishable by death. In the Quran, it says that Ethiopians are raisin heads. It says the devil looks like a black man. And these are all coming from Muhammad. So Muhammad was a white man who owned black slaves. And the black community has been pushed into this idea that Muhammad was not black, or was black, and that he was not white, that he was black, and that's the religion of their people. And you have a famous person like Cassius Clay, who literally said in an interview that he wanted to not have a slave owner name and gave up his "I fight for black people" white name to have a "I enslave black people" white name.
You mind if I add something real quick?
Yeah.
And here's something else a lot of people don't know. That name that he was given, Cassius Clay, by getting rid of it, he did a disservice, because Cassius Clay was a well-known abolitionist and senator who fought for the freedom of black people from Kentucky. He was called the Lion of Whitehall. So you gave up a name that you want to call a white slave master, but that name was a man who fought for your freedom to not be a slave. And then you turn around and take the name of an actual slave owner, Muhammad. I mean, it's retarded, man.
Like, I don't know if you've ever looked at this, but okay, so this right here. So I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to show you a picture right now of Muhammad's 36th grandson. Okay, this is his grandson.
I'm gonna step off real quick, but y'all have a good night, man. Dr. Lawrence, thank you for the conversation. And Savage, thank you one time for the conversation. I'm gonna step off.
Well, thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Have a good night.
Here, look at this real quick though. I'm about to share this with this screen.
I got you.
So this right here is Muhammad's grandson. That's Muhammad's 36th grandson. Does that look like a brown guy?
Nope.
Not at all. It's a white guy with a red beard. But thank you for coming up on the panel, my man.
Yeah, thank you guys, man. Thank you guys, man. And y'all have a good night, man. And we'll catch up, man.
Yeah, you have a good night too.
All right, thank you.
Later, bub.
Peace.
Peace.
So John Truth kept asking about putting a link in. I know why I couldn't put it in the chat before. My wrench is gone.
Really? I don't know why your wrench is gone.
I have no idea.
All right, let me go into my settings.
No, you ain't got to do it now, man. You got it in the private chat. We're good. That's all that matters. You know me, I'm a simple man. Or at least I try to be anyway.
Well,
oh, Chris Mizuno said his is gone too.
I didn't take anyone's.
Well, he said never mind.
Okay, because I didn't take anyone's. I didn't take any of them from anybody.
No, I'm going up the entire chat line. Nobody has a wrench. Oh no, Money Boy does, but that's it. Yeah, money boy trades. I don't even want to see what.
Well, guys, I got work
well.
in the AM, so I will catch you guys tomorrow. I am going to get some rest.
Okay. John Truth said he tried 3 times, but he got kicked out by StreamYard. I don't know
Yeah,
what that means.
his Wi-Fi was going in and out. But Chris, I'll make sure I give you a wrench. I'll put you guys back with the wrenches.
Yep.
But as always, guys, have a lovely time tonight. Get some rest. As always, guys, stay savage.
All right.